get a pile of tourmaline that looks like this into a gorgeous strand that looks like this. So when you've got a pile of tourmaline like this, it's going to be made into gemstone beads. First of all, each one of these gemstones need to be inspected. A line is then drawn down the middle of the gemstone or wherever the gem is going to be faceted, and it's then taken behind us and then faceted into these rough gem shapes. Once each gemstone has been cut into the amount of pieces it needs to be, it's then time to shape the gemstones. These gentlemen are working on anything from a round to a pear shape, pretty much any cut imaginable. The next process is polishing and faceting, and this takes a huge amount of skill. It can take years for a lapidress to be able to facet like this, and each one of the gemstones can take up to 10 minutes to cut. A really lengthy but incredible process. The next stage of the process is really interesting. This is where each one of the gemstones is drilled. And what Sanjay's doing here is putting a drill through faceted beads of black tourmaline. The next stage after drilling is then to get the gemstones sorted into their appropriate colours and sizes. This can be a really, really lengthy process. Once the gemstones are sorted into different colours and sizes, they're then arranged into these strands and made into strands like this. Now each one of these gemstones could have gone through a 30 to 40 minute process to arrive on a strand like this. It's really quite incredible. If there's one thing that my time in India has taught me, it's the hours of dedicated time that goes into making each one of the gemstones we sell on JewelleryMaker.
Good morning and welcome to JewelleryMaker. A very exciting morning as well because for the second show in a row I'm joined by the lovely Gill.
Good morning, Ed.
How are you, Jilly? Okay?
I'm really well, thank you very much.
Good. You look very lovely this morning.
Thank you.
There you go. And a real treat for producer Dion because she gets to work with me. So, no, but I have put my blue shirt on for you, Dee. I did, yeah, you see. I checked the rotor to make sure you were in. My producer is obsessed with blue gemstones, and so I thought I'd wear my blue shirt for her because I know she likes it. We've got so many treats this morning that it's a little bit ridiculous. Just have a look at all of my new strands. These aren't actually new. These are just a treat because Dion's put them on this T-bar, basically. Can anybody guess why?
Because they're blue, Ed?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Get that girl a coconut. There you go. But we have got lots of very interesting premieres. How about this? It's a family reunion on one strand. The Beryl family. Over 200 carats on this one strand. I mean, look at the size of that. Huge carat weights here. Each and every one of these probably large enough to be used as a pendant, I would have thought. Certainly to be the focal point of any design. We've got brand new strand of Heliodor, Peridot, this one's birthstone, faceted to perfection. Absolutely gorgeous. We'll talk more about the importance of stocking up on your birthstones as we move through the show, but shall we get everybody up and running with an incredible deal, because every morning we start the show with our early bird, and this morning is no exception. Have a look at this, because I think most of the time we sort of aim to give you the best value on the market for genuine gemstones, because of course we're part of the Genuine Gemstone Company. But all jewellery makers are going to have a different relationship with gemstones. They're going to have their own personal favourites. But no matter what style of jewellery you work in, no matter what gemstones you tend to lean towards, you're always going to need your essential findings. And this morning we've got a wholesale deal on your head pins. The problem with this bundle, there is one small problem with it. Actually, sorry, as my granddad used to say, there's two problems with it. Not enough and not enough. We only have a limited number available, unfortunately, because we've taken so many lines and bundled them together, so we haven't got a huge amount of stock. I'll take you through the head pins because they're quite detailed, some of them. These are little butterflies, I'm guessing. Or it could be a four-petaled flower, I suppose. Depends which way you set it. Or actually, from that direction, it almost looks like sort of a Celtic sort of design. So you've got 10 of those. That's just one. Then we've got little triangular ones. This is really interesting actually, because I think the last time I was on a show with, I think it was Debbie Bulford actually, she was saying that you're hard pushed to find any differential in the head pins from other suppliers. It's usually just the normal round flat head pins. But
yeah, even trying to get the round the head pins with
ball
the little balls on them is incredibly difficult. So to be able to get a whole range of different head pin styles is lovely, especially if you're thinking about doing something like a bubble bracelet with lots of stones, because you'd be able to show off all of the different ends really well.
That's a good point actually, because then all of a sudden the component becomes a bit of a feature of the design, doesn't it? Yes. Which is quite on trend at the moment if you think about sort of steampunk and all those kind of genres. Here we go, we've got a little teardrop or pear drop shape. So you've got 10 of those. Oh, these are cool. These are like little toadstools. I'm saying the ball head pins are quite hard to come by, but these are taking that look one step further. So an even more distinctive finish to those head pins. So you've got 10 of those ones as well. You've also got your rose gold finish head pins. These are the flat head pins. So there's a rose gold. You've got the same in the yellow gold, but you've got a huge number of these ones. 100 in total of your rose gold and 100 of your yellow gold flat head pins as well. So this is gold plated copper, just to be clear. The yellow gold's just the finish to it. So you've got 100 of those as well. They're 44 millimeters. All of these head pins they're the longer ones. So actually, you get quite a lot, I suppose, of give there, because you might not necessarily need the whole length. You might be able to, don't throw anything away, of course, in jewellery making. So if you do snip it off, you could just create a little wrap loop and turn it into an eye pin, the leftover. Ooh, look at this. Right. Is this a little clover, perhaps? 3-leaf clover? Or a club? From a pack of cards? That could be the one. Oh, those would be good on if you're creating cufflinks using the hearts or the spades, the wooden ones. Those would be great. Then, another floral design here. Now, I haven't even managed to get through all of the designs, and already half the stock has been allocated. Most people so far that I can see, I can't see all of your names, but most people I can see are actually taking 2 of these. Don't forget, we're never going to limit you here at Jewellery Maker. It's our aim to be your one-stop shop for all your jewellery making needs. So if we do give you a wholesale deal, you're not limited to one. You can buy as many as you wish. And if you are placing it in your basket at JewelleryMaker.com, you can see how quickly the stock is being allocated. That's something else. Allocated. Here we go, have a look at this. This is the one. This is going to be the winner for so many designers. The heart-shaped head pins. You get 10 of those as well. So you could just use these actually as a feature in a pair of maybe stud earrings, something like that. Then you... Oh, I've just realised we've just had a huge influx of callers on the phone lines. It looks like this is about to sell out. We haven't even brought the price on screen. $11.95 this morning for 300 head pins, and you've seen the variety you're getting here as well. So it's not just about the number you get there, it's not just about the quantity, it's also about the fact that these findings will actually influence the look of your designs. So you've got the little cat head pins there, then you've got the diamonds in 2 varying sizes. So there you go, you've got the slender diamonds and the wider diamonds. 300 in total, but as you can see, we are now down to limited availability. It's quickly flown out the door. We only had 80 to start with. As you can see, we've virtually taken every design of head pin we've got and put them into one wholesale bundle for you this morning. And we've actually got about 10 people with it placed in their baskets. So if everybody was to check out right now, we'd be left with single figures of availability. Very, very important that people are checking out. And of course, if you are coming through on the phone lines, you may enter a short queue. Don't panic. It's a free phone number here at JewelleryMaker, so just wait for someone to answer your call. You're going to come through to a member of our award-winning help team, and if there is any stock available, they will add it to your order. Never take our word for it, because you know, things do fluctuate in the system. Somebody's card might not go through, somebody might change their mind. Looks like that's going to be a sellout though, so congratulations to everybody who was in for the early bird. Now, we're going to move on now, and we're going to give Jill a little bit of a challenge this morning.
Yeah.
But I did hear you discussing it with producer Dion, and I did hear your excitement when you laid eyes on this shell pearl bundle. I think
shell pearl is beautiful. It allows you the luxury of wearing a proper gemstone in a really affordable way. Absolutely. And I think they work really well together. I think we've got there's some matte colours, we've got some typical pearl colours, and we're going to have a go at mixing it up and making something that's maybe a little bit different, maybe a bit classic. We'll see how it goes.
Oh, that's a good sort of analysis of this bundle. Actually, it sort of encapsulates everything that we think about when we discuss pearls, because it's sort of got the classic feel to it, but also a contemporary look as well. So this bundle sort of encapsulates that, doesn't it?
I think it does. I think it encapsulates that really well. And the other thing is that if you've got a child who's wanting to make jewellery alongside you, they're nice size stones for little fingers to work with, and because they're shell pearl, they're that bit more affordable, so maybe so worried about letting a child experiment with real stones and making their own pieces for themselves to wear.
Yeah, that's a great point actually. I've been encouraging lots of people to get their youngsters involved in jewellery making throughout the summer period. I myself and my father can be a bit frustrating in the summer if they're bored, trying to keep them busy, but also my argument is that it's important to keep their minds active as well, because you work with them all year, you know, helping them with their schoolwork and everything, and then you just click the off button for 6 weeks and then it all falls out their brain. You've got to start again in September. So I think, you know, a creative outlet can often be a good way to keep people's minds active.
I think it allows children to develop really well. Creative processes are good for your overall mental development. Using your hands is good for your dexterity and your motor skills, and just the fact that they're sitting doing something together means that they're interacting, they're learning good social skills, they're learning to share.
Totally agree.
Fabulous way of helping to teach a child in a way that's fun for them.
Yeah, especially as children often equate sort of having a good time to the end product, if you like, rather than the memory. You know, that comes later, doesn't it, that part of it?
It is, and the shell pearls will fit the beading a
little bit tricky. And of course, with the perfect round, you've got that look of luxury as well, haven't you?
Yes.
Which you wouldn't normally get with a culture pearl unless you were paying very large sums of money.
No, and unlike a glass pearl, these are really, really durable. I've never had any of the pieces flake off, or in the way that a cheap glass pearl does. So I think they're great.
Ah, well, there you go. That's all you want to know. If Jill thinks they're great, you know what to do. Start dialing that free phone number. Put yourself to the front of the queue. As I say, you can always put the phone down. You can always change your mind. And of course, here at JewelleryMaker, we do give you a 30-day money-back guarantee. quibble free, of course. You just got to get it home, and I think it's the best way to make an informed decision. We will show you the gemstones today. Let's have a look with a little bit of a skin tone behind it, because it will give you a better idea of how they're going to look in your final designs. You've got this gorgeous golden tone here, almost like a sort of champagne hue. Then you've got your silver, so classic metallic tones here for your designs. These are both 12mm in size. Then you've got, these are kind of like a mink colour, if you like, and these are your 6mm. I've just realised they've been classified as beige, so I don't want to confuse anybody who's shopping on JewelleryMaker.com, but, well, for a start, it doesn't really look beige, and secondly, it doesn't sound very romantic, so we'll stick with mink, now that I've said it. And then we've got your white shell pearls, which are also 12mm rounds, so again, that larger size, as Jill was saying, great for little fingers, or maybe if you've got dexterity problems as well, they might be quite handy. It's supposed to have the larger rounds. Actually, we get lots of people requesting perfect rounds at the moment. Might be because a lot of the braiding techniques are reliant on the perfect rounds, and so with their rising popularity, lots of people are after them. But of course, your beanie beads, well, all your classic looks really are very achievable using the perfect rounds. That's right, isn't it?
There's huge versatility in perfect rounds. Yeah, the other cuts are lovely, but the round is a classic example, a classic shape. So if you're new to jewellery making, it's the go-to shape, but it still has a lot of versatility. I think it's because people tend to rely on the perfect rounds when they're first starting jewellery making, and then of course when they start to develop their techniques and add new strings to their bow, if you like, they rely on the perfect round again, because it takes that aspect out of the equation of trying to integrate the more difficult shapes into your design, I suppose. It's a shape that will fit with just about anything, depending on the size. So you can work into big chunky jewellery, very delicate jewellery, classic jewellery, contemporary jewellery. It works for everything. So yeah, it's a great kit.
Synonymous with the sort of shell pearl as well. So there you go. And we also have these, which are, I think, are a little slightly different finish to the other pearls. They're got a bit more of a sheen to them, and they're a sort of nude colour, or maybe, I suppose it's going to depend what you match them up with. They could be used to be a sort of nude, or they could be a pastel pink tone. Yeah, depends what you match them up with, I suppose. Yeah,
I think that if you've got a little flower girl, maybe they'd make a lovely simple necklace or simple bracelet for a flower girl.
Absolutely.
The colour is lovely, and it'd be a piece that they'd be proud to have.
Absolutely. So we've got 5 strands of your shell pearl here. Of course, as we are aware, we're expecting to see major increases in the price of genuine cultured pearls coming towards the end of the year. And I think that, you know, if that's something that's a consideration for you as a jewellery maker, and you're not going to want to necessarily work with cultured pearls, then this could be the perfect substitute, especially as you get the perfect round shape, you get the same feel as a pearl, maybe not quite the same finish as a pearl essence, but the nacre of the pearl certainly gives you a very high-end sheen. I mean, faux pearls are actually a massive industry all on their own, to be quite honest with you, and these for me are the closest thing to a cultured pearl, because they are reconstituted from a genuine mineral. So I think that gives you that sort of link with Mother Nature all the same. 5 strands here, and we have got a very exciting price point. Here we go, £19.95, £20 this morning for 5 strands of shell pearl. We're talking about £4 a strand, basically. Amazing when you think, especially about the impact that the 12mm pearls will have on your designs. I mean, in all honesty, you could restrand that just with a clasp, and that's perfectly wearable, a classic look, really, isn't it?
Very easy just to restrand several of those without any difficulty, and you wouldn't be selling it for £4, would you?
No, well, it's quite right.
And if you weren't selling but giving us gifts, I don't think anyone would work out that that's all you'd spend, plus a bit of your time and a finding on creating a bespoke, personalised piece of jewellery as a gift.
Absolutely, yeah. There you go. So this is probably one of the best ways to get this kind of value on a mineral like this. Your gorgeous shell pearl here, especially this array of colour tones, which I think are all classic colour tones to add to your sort of gemstone stash, your colour palette, if you like, to work from, because it's, again, you've got the classic finish and you've got the classic colour tones, so you just can't go wrong with this, especially with this kind of value. I suppose if you were looking at a strand of cultured pearls, maybe 10 by 9 mil, you'd be looking at $19.95 for one strand. So with the shell pearl, that sort of puts the value of shell pearl into perspective, I would say. One strand of cultured pearls would probably be about $19.95. Here you can get 5 strands of your shell pearl for that exact same price point. Now, one thing I've just touched upon there is the fact that we're expecting to see a rise on the price of cultured pearls. The reason we know that is because we have very long-standing relationships with our suppliers here at JewelleryMaker, and that's because of our relationship with our sister channel, Gems TV, which is the flagship channel for the Genuine Gemstone Company. And if you are looking to invest in gifts for somebody, but you don't want to make it yourself, that is the place to be. We are going to show you exactly how to get involved with Gems TV.
Did you know you can purchase incredible jewellery featuring genuine gemstones on our sister channel, Gems? Come along and see what treasures you can find.
Welcome back to JewelleryMaker. So yes, very exciting, of course, to be part of the Genuine Gemstone Company, because it allows us to give you the kind of value that we do. The way that we do that is that we work in quite a unique fashion. We go directly to the mine owners, we cut out all of the middlemen, and we cut the gemstones ourselves to ensure that we can provide you with the best value on the market, not just here at JewelleryMaker, but of course next door on our sister channel Gems as well. So we try to responsibly transfer Mother Nature's resources and of course give you the most affordable prices. Can't go wrong, can you? Now, the other key thing about us as a company is that we like to share all the information that we do receive. So if some of our suppliers tell us what's going to happen in the industry, we like to share that with you so that you can make informed purchases. And I have an interesting question that I'd like to pose everybody, actually. I was just talking about the idea of lots of people taking up the braiding techniques such as macrame, kumihimo, and I'd like to get everybody involved with the show this morning. So is it okay if I ask everybody to text in, or you can of course use the message box at jewellerymaker.com. I want to know, what's the next jewellery making discipline you plan to take up? So maybe, you know, you do a lot of macrame and you plan to branch out into kumihimo, or maybe you want to go in a completely different direction and learn wire. I'm getting a lot of heat on me at the moment from the designers telling me that I have to master a bit of wire work. So yes, text in. The number you need is 60777. Start your text with the phrase JM Studio to ensure it comes through to my producer, and yes, we'll put it out on screen. Put your name on it, and then you'll get a little shout out. But we'll continue to give you incredible value for genuine gemstones, because that is what we do. Oh, I tell you what, there are so many jewellery makers out there who do work in quite a methodical way, especially people who have turned their hobby into a small business. So people tend to work a season ahead, planning for the craft fairs that they've booked in, and here we've got so many autumnal colours. You being serious? Was that, what was that? What did you look over then for, production manager Chloe? Is it because I always get in trouble for using the word autumnal too much?
No, I was just checking if your desk was clear.
Right, so production manager Chloe's doing some floor managing today, and she just glanced over and I thought, oh, it's because channel manager Paul always used to take the mickey out of me for saying the word autumnal too much, but actually she just said, no, I was just seeing if the desk was clear. She was just doing her job. Paranoid, that's my problem. Okay, I actually already know the price point for this bundle, and if you are logged in at jewellerymaker.com, then you already know the price, I believe. Is that right? So that means that if you're a phone buyer, you're going to have to trust me here and take my advice. Start dialing the free phone number right now. On, was it Saturday that we did a show together, Jill?
Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, I think we might have done a pretty special deal on one 3-strand pack. And we went a little bit low, and I was talking to everybody about how the phone lines used to go crazy when we did 3 strands for $9.95. Typically, it would be gemstones like this actually, maybe not sunstone, but jasper certainly. We've always been very successful in sourcing your jasper. And yeah, we used to go to $9.95 and used to melt the phone lines. I can tell you that this is not going to $9.95, it's going even lower. Have a look at this. You've got your sunstone, you've got your wood jasper, and your frosted smoky agate, all in 6mm rounds here. Very, very popular size. Again, those perfect rounds seem to be very popular, and the 6mm rounds perfect for macrame designs in particular, but also your kumihimo, and of course wire work, as well as your classic beading, of course. 6mm rounds, and I love the colour tones. They're just so earthy, they're going to go with virtually any other gemstone. Great combination of colour tones there. I can tell you, we already have allocated over a quarter of the stock. That's how quickly it's flying out the door at JewelleryMaker.com. If you want to get involved, you need to be dialing that free phone number, because here comes your price. $6.95 this morning. So yes, as I say, I used to get in trouble. I should explain, if we do have new buyers this morning, because we get lots of new buyers here on JewelleryMaker every single day. I used to be part of the management team here on JewelleryMaker. I used to be the sales manager, and so we basically bought in some 3-strand packs. We put them on air. This is in the early days, so we'd only been going for about, say, 18 months. And at the time, where I'm standing was the call centre. So we've expanded quite a lot in that time. And basically, from my desk, the call centre managers could see me, and we only used to have 100 available phone lines. So if there was 101 people queuing, then the phone lines used to sort of collapse. Wouldn't have that problem these days, because we have much larger capacity to deal with our increased customer base. But yes, basically, if I put 3 strands on air for $9.95, I could be sure that the call centre manager will be calling me to tell me off shortly afterwards. So to bring you 3 strands for $6.95 is very, very exciting, and just goes to show how our increased customer base has helped with our buying power and allowed us to actually offer you even better value. You'd think most companies might spend 3 or 4 years building up a brand name and then inflate their prices, which a lot of high street stores do, of course, but not here at the Genuine Gemstone Company. It's our remit to give you the best value on the market for genuine gemstones, and I think that's exactly what we're doing right now. Sunstone, smoky frosted agate, and petrified wood jasper. These ones at the top, these frosted agates, they're going to give you quite a unique finish, because it's not something that you see every day, that sort of muted tone. And actually the inclusions, or the banding inside the gemstones, almost similar to rutilations that you might find in a rutile quartz. So it's, I suppose that's quite key for a lot of jewellery makers, because that's going to allow you to create bespoke designs no matter what, because you know no 2 gemstones are going to be the same, so every single design is going to be totally individual. And I think when people are investing in bespoke jewellery designs, they want to know it's a one of a kind. They want to know there's something special about that design, not just the fact that you're using genuine gemstones, of course, but the fact that no 2 are the same, and they've got something personal, individual to them. I've got people coming through taking 2s and 3s. We've actually gone global with this deal, so good morning to Pat in Menorca, very regular customer for us here at JewelleryMaker. And you've grabbed 2 of these, Pat. That just goes to show best value on the market. And we're already receiving some texts. Is this about new disciplines? Tanya, another regular customer and regular contributor to the show, I will say. So Tanya steps in and says, my next thing is wire work, as I've already started with polymer clay and beading. Tanya Mahon. Oh, Tanya Mahon, I just took my macrame bracelet off because it was clanging against my cufflinks, but Tanya is a massive fan of the big dog, and who can blame her? No, Tanya sent me in a macrame bracelet, but her little girl Mia selected the gemstones. That was nice, isn't it? And another text from Sue saying, hi Jill and Ed, I'm interested in steampunk, so wire work is high on the list of things to master. There you go. I'll tell you what, we'll do a little bit of a deal on some wire, how about that? Now, I have to warn everyone, whenever we do a wire bundle, it gets a little bit crazy on the phone lines. As ever, my advice is to phone early to avoid disappointment. Put yourself to the front of the queue. Two very, very useful gauges of wire here. Your 0.4mm and your 0.6mm. But I've noticed you've chosen the ever popular turquoise colour tones. What do you mean you have to do it? You're just obsessed with blue. Funny that such a happy-go-lucky person's so obsessed with being blue. This is quite incredible because what you've actually got here is the wire for the more intricate parts of your design. So generally your 0.4mm is going to be used for a lot of the weaving work and the binding work. Your 0.6 for your detailing. Actually, the other interesting thing about your 0.6mm wire is that you could use it in the little devices that we've offered you in the past that help you to create findings. Do you know the ones I'm talking about? The little with the little plastic cogs that either create spirals or little wave-like shapes. And I know from personal experience that 0.6mm is the highest gauge that you can put through those tools. Basically, I put 0.8 through it and broke them. So, yeah. So 0.6mm is the highest gauge I would put through those particular wire work devices. But of course, there's so many experienced wire workers out there that can probably create their own findings, very uniformed. Freehand.
I think the 0.6 is a wire that is a good starter wire because you can double it up and twist it to make a structural piece. Okay. It forms really easily if you use a jig. So if you want to make a pair of chandelier type earrings or a multi-chain connector, it moulds easily around the jig pegs. And as you say, the crinkle tool and the spiral maker also work really well with it. So it's a really good starter wire. And the other's a 0.4, did you say?
0.4, yeah.
Which is a really great weaving wire. It doesn't take as long to weave with 0.4 as it might with 0.25, and you still get a really beautiful, delicate look with it. Yes. So you've got wires there that cross all uses really, without any difficulty. So they're a great combination.
That's what you're looking for really, especially with the wire twisting tool, of course. You can actually increase the diameter gauge as well, so you can take a 0.4, twist it together to create 0.8. And I have to say, wire work is, I would say, our most popular discipline here at JewelleryMaker, only because we've got more designers, DVDs and workshops dedicated to wire work than any other discipline. I suppose the reason that wire work becomes so popular is that A, it makes your gemstones go a little bit further, of course, but also because of the sort of endless possibilities that you can create using wire, it allows you to express your own personality in each and every piece. Of course, we're seeing some people taking it in completely other direction, not even using it in jewellery design, I suppose, and more using it for ornamental pieces. If you think about Alison Howe's work, and Alison Tarney using it as sort of upcycle clothing as well.
Yes,
So,
and one of our designers made a beautiful jewellery hanging rack with the wire as well, didn't
yes,
she?
I saw that, yeah.
You know, lots of different uses for wire other than jewellery making.
Fantastic. Lots and lots of people already getting involved. We know how popular wire is. In fact, I'm looking at a room full of people who have come down to learn wire work techniques from the lovely Laura Vine, and there they all are. I don't think they've noticed. I don't even think they've got the TV on. There you go, but they're having a good giggle, and yes, I imagine they're going to be kicking themselves because they're going to miss out not only on these two very important gauges of wire, but just have a look at the colour tone as well. Gorgeous turquoise metallic sheen, and I think this is going to add to a lot of your designs. Of course, this is the wire that is used in probably one of the most emulated designs here at JewelleryMaker, the Alison Howe bird. Probably see about one a week of these posted onto Facebook. It is a rather gorgeous design, and I have to tell you, this morning we have got a very, very exciting price. If you want to get involved, start dialing that free phone number. $34.90 is your price point for both reels this morning. If you do want to get involved, start dialing that free phone number, because we're not staying there. If you were to buy these from our website, it'd be $34.90, but not when we create a wholesale bundle. We've taken it down to $14.95. So that is the equivalent of buying the 0.4mm reel of wire. Bearing in mind you get 100 meters on each reel, and getting the 0.6mm reel for free. How often do you go into a store and see the traditional buy one get one free offer and the little terms underneath say pay for the most expensive item, get the cheaper one for free? That's normally the terms attached to a buy one get one free offer, but not here at JewelleryMaker, and not when producer D is selling something blue. That's just how it goes. That is unbelievable value. I was kind of excited at $34.90. Now listen, when the management team come down to have a word with you after the show, are you seriously going to use the defence? It was blue. Mutiny! We're only 38 minutes into the show, and she's decided there's only one name next to this cell, and it's mine.
She's hardly going to blame herself, is she?
Unbelievable. Right, that's it. Things are going to change up here this morning. Tell you what. Oh, I will tell you though, do you know what? You have made a really interesting clearance price there, because have a look at some of the gemstones we've got coming up later in the show and how well they're going to work with this colour tone. The pearls, the moonstone, and this gorgeous chalcedony. It's sort of a lavender tone. Looks a little pale on screen, but it's just because of our studio lights. But I think all of those go beautifully with the turquoise tone. Of course, as well, the actual turquoise colours will go beautifully with the sort of copper tones, the rose golds as well. Tends to be a classic combination, doesn't it? $14.95 for 200 metres of your turquoise wire. 0.4 and 0.6mm, that is flying out the door. Don't forget, all of these offers only available until 9 AM tomorrow morning, or more likely while stocks last. So if I were you, I'd start dialing that free phone number, or of course log in at JewelleryMaker.com. Probably the most efficient way to shop from us here at JewelleryMaker. But of course, if you do place items in your basket at JewelleryMaker.com, make sure you check out to avoid disappointment. Placing it in your basket doesn't actually guarantee you the item, it's just a sort of signal of intent, if you like. So if you place it in your basket and somebody phones up on the free phone number, your reels of wire could be allocated to their order. So my advice is to check out as you go. Of course, you've still got your 30-day money-back guarantee, so you've still got time to make an informed decision once you see it in the flesh. But I think most experienced wire workers are going to already know about the quality of our wire. Now, rather exciting, because we're about to bring you our first kit of the morning, and for me the JewelleryMaker kits are probably the best way to get started with the hobby. But that was our initial concept. So this is the sort of concept from which the entire channel was launched, really, that we could create a kit that would contain everything you'd need to get started with jewellery making. The key thing for me, that as people have become more experienced with jewellery makers, they still invest in the kits because it allows them to replenish all of their stocks at once. So there's sort of a win-win situation for beginners and experienced jewellery makers. You just can't go wrong. And I know that a lot of people like to make their decision based on the gemstones. So I'm going to show you those first. Gorgeous combination here. Very sort of fiery, I think, because you've got the golden tones coming from your citrine here. 50 carats in total, top drill drops. Actually, some of them are almost sort of centre drilled, if you like. So there's a bit of a irregularity there, but I think that's going to feed into your designs. They make gorgeous petals, actually. I know that floral motifs are very popular with jewellery makers. And then I love the combination here because you've got that subtle, almost champagne-like tone from the citrine, combined with that rich saturation from the rhodolite garnet. Again, you've got the irregularity in the droplets, and they range in size from 4x2 to 8x3. Absolutely gorgeous saturation there. The exact colour tone that you'd associate with this variety of garnet. A sort of it's a sort of cherry red, I suppose, but then you've got this inner glow, almost like a cognac tone as well. Actually, Director Ollie's probably bang on there. It's like looking into a glass of red wine. That's exactly what it's like. And then have a look at this. I always get excited about this because it's my birthstone. And so Rainbow Moonstone, I have that personal association with it. And that's what we were talking about when we were discussing our premiere strand of this month's birthstone, Peridot. That's coming up later in the show. But yeah, always important to stock them on your birthstones. People tend to be drawn to their own birthstone. And even if people don't have that sort of depth of knowledge about gemstones, they're still probably going to be aware of their birthstones. So you're more likely to make a sale if you're working with people's birthstones. I'm wearing my birthstone as well. I've shown these before, but as I say, we get lots of new buyers. So you can see the effect that you get from this. See that little blue shimmer there? It's known as agilurescence, associated with this gemstone, moonstone. And of course, this is where it actually takes its name from. The ancient Romans believed that that little schiller that you see inside the gemstone was actually a shard of moonlight placed there by the lunar gods, and so they named it Moonstone. And I think I'd prefer to think of it that way. You know, I know that we understand the science behind it, but that sort of mystical property that it holds, that optical phenomenon, you can see how people are drawn to working with genuine gemstones when you see that little flash. And actually here, not only are you getting those traditional blues, but you've got violets, greens. Oh, I just found a rainbow, in fact. Oh, as soon as I tilt it towards the cameras, the studio lights are going to ruin it for me, aren't they? I think you can get the little green tone there, certainly, and I think you've got the golden, yeah, the yellows at the top there. There is actually a little spectrum of colour there, a little rainbow. Clues in the title, Rainbow Moonstone. So there you go. Gorgeous combination of colour tones, but also very complementary cuts in terms of the top drill drops. As I say, perfect for creating matching sets of jewellery if you're a beginner and you want the earrings and the pendant set. But if you are a little more confident with your jewellery making skills, of course they make gorgeous petals for flowers or wings for butterflies or dragonflies. These are all popular looks within this particular brand of jewellery making. And have a look at this. I mean, this is going to add so much value to your designs. It's a little sterling silver connector here. But just have a look at the extent of the detailing there. It's like a little flower stem or a branch. Detailing to the last note though, on the little flower, the leaves. You could I suppose, set gemstones onto this. Maybe if you're using your monofilament, I suppose.
I think if you had stones with a reasonable enough sized drill hole, you could actually just set them, glue them onto the little prongs that are there, or you could maybe use polymer clay and make a little adornment to cover the prong piece. Because it's sterling silver, it will clearly go in the oven at the temperature required to bake polymer clay safely. So yeah, I think it's a lovely collector.
Idea. I'll just show this. I'm just going to hold it flat actually so you can see. If you see there, you can just see the stamen of the flower, and there's a little bit of the sort of stem that are just set upright. So you could set gemstones into the centre of those, and as Jill's just advised, just a little dab of jewellery glue and they'll stay in place, will they? Yeah. There you go. And of course, working with genuine sterling silver is going to add value to your designs, but also with this much detailing, it's almost sort of like Italian designer metalwork, if you think about it in that way, just because the amount of work that's gone into the piece itself. Now, you haven't just got this sterling silver connector. This is 43mm in size, by the way, just because I know a lot of people like to know the dimensions. That's not your only sterling silver, because we've also included our 45-piece sterling silver findings pack. There's everything you're going to get. You've got a length of chain, you've got your little ball head pins, you've got your lobster claw clasps, your crimp beads, your jump rings, your crimp bead covers, and your little fancy earring findings as well. So sterling silver findings here. And of course, a lot of people do tell me, our designers and a lot of the ladies I speak to in the workshops tell me that when they are working with sterling silver, if you advertise that on your craft fair stall, people actually expect to then pay a premium for your design. So you don't have to work quite so hard to justify the price points you're trying to achieve if you're working with semi-precious metals like silver. Oh, this is rather impressive. Have a look at this. Now, normally we give you your beading thread, your elastic and your monofilament, but on this particular item we've given you, am I right in saying these are all 50 metres? So you're getting 250 metre beading thread here, but in a variety of colour tones. So you've got this sort of neon purple, you've got your red or tangerine tone, then you've got your very festive green there, your gold and your silver. And of course, we know that as people have developed with their jewellery making skills, once again, nothing goes to waste, and beading thread has been used as a real feature in certain designs. Gemma Crow, for example, using it to great effect. In fact, there is a DVD known as Adventures with Beading Thread. So if you did want to take your beading thread in a different direction and make use of those sort of vibrant colour tones that you're getting here, then that might be a good way to, I suppose, make the most of your 1 P&P per day, because you can add as many items to your order as you wish. And at just $4.95 might be a good addition to your order, because it'll allow you to potentially make your designs go a little bit further. Now, this particular kit is known as Elegant Garden, and you can see why, because all 3 gemstone strands are coming from our Gems of Distinction range. So they represent the highest possible quality we can source for you. I think you can see that in the adularescence of the rainbow moonstone, in the depth of the colour on your garnet, and in that gorgeous, almost champagne-like fizz of your citrine. Lots and lots of people getting involved. I suppose these are experienced jewellery makers who enjoy working with sterling silver. If that's you, then start dialing the free phone number, because here comes your price point this morning. $29.95, so £30 for 3 Gems of Distinction strands. That in itself would be a good price. If this was a 3-strand pack of gemstones at $29.95, I'd be excited. But to bring you 45 pieces sterling silver, 250 metres of your coloured beading thread, and you've of course got that very detailed little sterling silver finding as well. This is incredible value, isn't it? $29.95. Hi Joe, you alright?
I'm very well, thank you.
Were you excited when you got hold of this kit?
I am. Well, I was. I mean, to work with genuine gems of distinction, solid sterling silver is a privilege.
Oh, nice. These are gorgeous. I love your designs. This is a great way of using this connector because you've made a real feature of it, haven't you?
Yeah, I think it has to be used as a feature piece. Yeah, we're challenged to use only what's in the kit, and that's exactly what I've done.
Yeah.
So making the most of the beading thread. I didn't have a lot of time because I only picked these kits up on Monday, so I might have done something different if I'd had more time, but I've done the best I could.
Oh, well, just to be clear, Jill saved the day on Saturday. So basically our designer for the Design Inspiration show phoned in sick, and Jill jumped straight in her car, came down here. We did the show together, and Jill was amazing. So yes, I think we can forgive that because you had to use your kits for the next show on Saturday, and there was a knock-on effect basically. So it left you with less time, but it doesn't look like that because your designs are all so gorgeous, I have to say. Beautiful. And the actual shape of this connector has formed quite an organic flow to the design, hasn't it?
Yes, I think it has to be used as a statement piece. I thought about using it just and then hanging gemstones off it, so use it as part of a tassel to make it a feature there. If I'd had more chain, I might have just used it very simply at the centre of a silver necklace. But
so it could have been used just as a standalone piece.
It could have been,
on its own, just as much like a gemstone, I suppose. There you go. That goes to say something about this kind of sterling silver piece when it's actually thought of as the focal point of a design, much like a gemstone. So which of your designs are we going to take a look at this morning?
We're going to show how I've embellished the
nice
piece in the middle, just to take
it to a different level. The key thing for a lot of jewellery makers, how am I going to get gemstones onto that connector, I suppose?
Yes, it required a little bit of thinking about, but you've got beautifully malleable sterling silver head pins in the piece. So what I did was actually make the macrame bracelet part up first using the macrame, the beading thread as the macrame strand, and it makes it easier to anchor. So I've just put some pieces on to hold it in place to make life easier. And then I've taken a gemstone and popped it onto a head pin, like so. And then I took my round nose pliers, popped them in, bent it to 90 degrees, took my round nose pliers and turned my wrist 90 degrees, and then lifted the tail end round to make a loop like so. And then before I finished off my loop, I fed it through the connector piece on the silver piece. A little bit of a wiggle to get it through. So it's now
really
hanging there.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I have to share this lovely message from Patricia. Said it would take her months to come up with these designs because they're all so lovely.
Thank you.
Sorry to interrupt, but that is a lovely message to receive, isn't it?
So I've now got my gemstone hanging on the connector piece of my sterling silver component, and then for security, I then took my flat nose pliers, grabbed where the loop closes, and then took my end of my head pin and wrapped it round for that. So I did that for 3 on each end of the connector piece, and then I was left with a bare bar that I wanted to embellish, and all I did was take the head pins that we had, fed on a gemstone, and if you look at your connector pieces, there are areas where it's easy to trap the metal ball on the end of the head pin.
Oh, yes,
so yeah,
okay.
So literally all I did was take it from underneath, trapped it in place with my fingers. It's a bit fiddly. Held it there, wrapped my wire around the bar, so I've now got it added in with a fairly securely fixed here.
And then because you're working with sterling silver as well, the head pin suddenly becomes a feature of the connector as well, doesn't it?
Well, the bar has little outposts anyway on it, so adding another one doesn't matter.
It doesn't affect the look at all.
At all. I then fed on one of my garnet and then just pushed it over and wrapped it round in place again. So that's allowed me then to embellish. So I wrapped that round a couple of times just to secure it. And now it's held there really securely, it's not moving anywhere. Sorry, my finger, that's probably easier to see, isn't it?
Fairly solid sort of gem setting really, isn't it?
And it works quite well to hold it in place. And then you don't want ends poking and sticking in you, so I made sure I'd got my end facing to the top of the piece before taking my flush cutter pliers and then trimming off that end. And I added two more along the length of that to finish the piece.
Amazing.
So it just means that you can take a piece that maybe you didn't think you could add gemstones to, and just by using the components you have, you can then embellish it as much as you want to.
And of course then you're creating a very personal piece because it's how you sort of set the gemstones on there as well.
We're talking about having a bracelet that's got garnet and citrine, so two of the birthstones in it.
Yes.
And making it into a functional piece that you can actually look at because it's on your wrist rather than around your neck.
Very true.
So, you know, a very personal piece and just a different way of using that component.
Would the Rainbow Moonstone be a little bit large to set onto the connector, do we think?
I think they are a little bit large, but you could try with some of the, the smaller ones because it's a graduated strand. So I think you could. I just like the idea of having the pop of the colour.
Yeah, the colour tones, they almost look like little berries or fruit or something, don't they? The only reason that I say that is just because this Rainbow Moonstone, I mean, this comes from our Gems of Distinction range. It's some of the highest quality Rainbow Moonstone that we've ever had here at JewelleryMaker, and normally this strand alone would be $14.95, so that accounts for half the price of the kit itself. When you think that the sterling silver findings, for example, are normally $11.95, that means you're getting your citrine, your garnet, and 250 metres of beading thread, along with that sterling silver connector for what, £3, something like that?
It's silly.
So all of that for £3 just sounds silly, £1 a piece.
You couldn't go into your average high street jewellers and buy a moonstone necklace, sterling silver moonstone necklace for £30.
No.
And that is a simple classic piece that would work well if you're an older person just wanting a classic piece of jewellery, if you're a bride and just want something really simple. Subtle, and in the natural, in daylight, the shimmer on the moonstone is beautiful.
Oh, it's spectacular, isn't it? Actually, I was talking over the weekend about the increase in the quality of the gemstones over the last 4 years. It's mind-boggling. A lot of the gemstones that we're looking at now, in fact, particularly the Rainbow Moonstone here, I'd have no problem if it was set into 9-carat gold for our sister channel Gems TV. That's the kind of quality that we're able to offer you here at JewelleryMaker, effectively jewellery quality gemstones, but for the price you'd normally pay for, I suppose, rough or tumbled gemstones. So really impressive, especially as you've got the faceting on that as well. $29.95, and of course that's our sterling silver kit featuring 3 strands from our Gems of Distinction range. We're going to leave that one there. Thank you so much for your design, Jill, and we're going to go to the Wall of Fame and find out what you've been creating. Welcome back to JewelleryMaker. Time for the Wall of Fame now, and this is your opportunity to have your designs not only shown on live TV, but of course each and every design that we receive is also entered into our weekly prize draw, so you could also be the lucky recipient of either £50 if you're the runner-up or £100 if you're the winner of our prize draw, which will take place on Wednesday morning. And I've got an interesting design here. It's number 52 and it's a little dream catcher. These are really popular at the moment, aren't they? Says, hi all at JM, sending in another of my dream catchers I've been working on. Just completed and posted to Jenny as promised. Oh, there you go. So Jenny's getting a little gift, I think. All materials, citrine, moonstone. That's interesting. Same gemstones that we've just been looking at in the kit. Stars, wire and threads from JM, and a few things from my stash. Good luck everyone for the draw. And this is coming from Sharon Wilson. Amazing. Number 52, that's Dreamcatcher, and I'm really impressed with that. It's something a little bit different, isn't it?
It is. It comes back to what we're talking about earlier, being able to use your jewellery making components for feature pieces for the home.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Lovely idea.
Yeah, we're talking about that. There you go then. Number 52, good luck to Sharon.
My piece comes from Emma in Cambridge. Hi everyone. This week's make I thought I'd share is a pendant made with a carved Amazonite flower bead. It's prong set in bare copper wire. I made ball ends for the prongs by melting the wire with my torch. I then wove this together and made a leaf design on the bail. I love how it looks, which is much better in real life than in the photo. So good luck, Emma. This is a stunning piece and the wire work is fabulous.
Absolutely. Fantastic design. Now everyone's getting very excited about number 51.
I'm not surprised.
But I have to say, I'm in on the joke already because this was actually posted to my Facebook page, my Ed Presenter Facebook page, so I already know this. One ring to rule them all. Basically, Angela Finch asked her husband to photograph her collection of rings that she'd been putting together using memory wire, and this is what he came up with. And she did comment it's not exactly what she had in mind when she asked him to do it. But yes, it is quite a unique idea to present your pieces of craft work using, I suppose, scary figures from Lord of the Rings. It says, hi, please find my entry for Wall of Fame. It's memory wire rings with beads from a bead scoop. I asked my husband to take photos of the rings I had made. He took the traditional style ones, but also a few I was not quite expecting. So there you go, I've just told the story already. I ruined your email, sorry Angela. But there you go. You are number 51, so good luck for the draw.
And the next piece comes from Natalie, and it says, here is this week's entry. I used blue JM 0.4 and 0.8mm wire, along with heart-shaped abalone shell. The key and glass beads are from my stash. The abalone shell has been a favourite, and the 2 strands I brought have been great value for money and made numerous pieces of jewellery. Yeah. So we've got a beautiful wired work piece there, showing that it doesn't really take very many gemstones with the addition of wire to make a truly unique pendant piece.
Absolutely.
Well done, Natalie.
Yeah, that's what we're saying about how popular wire is for that very reason. And this is gorgeous. It almost makes me think of confectionery.
Yes, it's got those colours, isn't it, of boiled sweets.
Absolutely, very vibrant colour tones. This is coming from Alison Goodwin. It says, my entry to the Wall of Fame, all made from items I got from JM. Love to all at JM, from Alison in Hertfordshire. So it's quite a classic sort of wire bracelet there, but very vibrant colour tones, which I find very complimentary actually. So you're number 50, good luck to you Alison as well. We are going to go to a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to launch a premiere strand, again from our Gems of Distinction range. The size of these beryls is ridiculous. You've got over 200 carats on the strand. Each and every one is, I think, designed to be used as a pendant, and you've got virtually every member of the beryl family on one strand there, so you just can't go wrong. We are going to go to a quick break, so we'll be back in 2 minutes with the beryl launch.
The fastest way to shop with JewelleryMaker is by going to our website. Just click on the sign up button. Once you've filled in the required details, you can start shopping. You can watch the show by clicking the Watch Live button on the front page. You can also use our Refine tool and narrow down your search. Once you've found an item that you like, just simply click on the Buy Now button and the item will be added to your basket. Don't forget you can add as many items to your basket per day and still only pay 1p in P. Enjoy shopping with JewelleryMaker.
We've teamed up with Make and Sell Jewellery magazine to offer our customers an exclusive promotion. From the 4th to the 8th of August, we're giving you the chance to get a 6-month subscription to Make and Sell Jewellery magazine for just $19.99, saving a massive 33%. Simply go to the website or call 01795 414 964 and quote the discount code JMOffer. Terms and conditions apply. Please see the website for more details. JewelleryMaker ships to the following countries. We offer 2 delivery services, standard and premium. So wherever you are in the world, JewelleryMaker are never far away.
Welcome back to JewelleryMaker. Time now to launch our first premiere strand of the morning, and it's very, very exciting, particularly for jewellery makers who are selling their designs, who do have an established customer base, who will understand the inherent value of these gemstones. And we're actually looking at, well, different varieties from the beryl family here. Beryl, of course, it's actually the only gemstone named after its chemical name, beryllium. And what you've got here basically is aquamarine, goshenite and heliodor all on one strand. Beryl's basically has a sort of base chemical composition, and then you get different elements that provide it with its colour tones. So for these aquamarines you're seeing here, it'll be iron that's provided it with that colour tone. This has a slight pink hue to it, so I think it's almost trying to become morganite, which means there'll be some manganese in there. Absolutely gorgeous colour tones here, but also I think the inclusions that you find inside the gemstone are actually telling their own little story, I suppose, if you like. So it's almost as though that texture that it's providing is giving the gemstone its own little character, which I think is important, especially if you're working with these larger carat weights. If you are going to make these the focal point of any design, you want the gemstone to do the talking for you. You want your piece of jewellery to be a showcase for the gemstone itself. And have a look at the way it's been faceted. You can see that the lapidaire is very confident in the quality of the gemstone to attempt this number of facets on the surface. And actually, the more facets you have on the surface of the gemstone, the greater the play of light. And you can see here, it's almost like sort of paparazzi flashes, and actually the facets are sort of dictating the way the light will move across the surface of the gemstone, so it's a very distinctive look. And I feel confident in saying that Lapis has enhanced Mother Nature's work there, and I have to say, you don't have to do a great deal of work with these gemstones, all you really need is a length of chain, I suppose. You could use these maybe as those sort of contemporary sort of navel droplet style necklaces that are quite long, so you just need a long length of chain and one gemstone. Of course, you're offering your customers a huge carat weight in each and every gemstone here. In fact, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So on average, you're looking at over 20 carats on each gemstone. I've been telling this story recently on the Late Show, where I normally present, that I used to be a producer on Gems TV when I first started with the company, and easily the most popular hour I used to present was on a Sunday night. It was the 10 carat club. So the main gemstone in each piece of jewellery had to be at least 10 carats, and the whole show was crazy. So many phone calls, people missing out on each and every piece of jewellery, because I suppose from a traditional point of view, people do look for larger carat weights in their designs. Yeah, in fact, yeah, my director's just saying the average engagement ring is, I think, 1/4 of a carat. Diamonds traditionally, of course. But it just goes to show that it's a very traditional way to judge a piece of jewellery. I know that there's a lot of people who invest in bespoke jewellery designs who won't necessarily judge it against a traditional sort of 4 C's criteria, if you like. But depending on the venue you're selling in, it might be that people do equate value to carat weight. And if you're working with these gemstones, then you can be pretty confident that you're offering people an incredible carat weight and unbelievable value, especially when you see our exclusive launch price this morning, 240 carats Multi Colour Beryl for $39.95. Unbelievable. You can make that back off 1 or 2 gemstones here if you're using them as pendants, I would imagine.
They're lovely. They'll make beautiful focal pieces for as pendants, particularly for wire wrapping. They'll be lovely, but just make it slightly bigger. But even just simply set on a piece of wire to make your own bail, they would look lovely.
That's what I was thinking, keeping it simple and let the gemstone do the talking. But actually, now that you've just said that, once again, I'm looking through at that room, and I imagine Laura Binding could do something quite exciting. She enjoys creating wire wrap pendants, doesn't she? And of course, here at JewelleryMaker, we are determined to make genuine gemstones as accessible as possible by giving you the best value. So we are going to give you an exclusive launch price. This will only be available until 9 AM tomorrow morning. A bit ridiculous because it actually is a £10 saving this morning. Until 9 AM tomorrow morning, you can add this strand to your order for $29.95. At that point, it will go back up to the original and intended price for this particular strand of $39.95. But right now, you can actually get hold of this with a £10 saving. It sounds ridiculous even just to say it. I mean, if you did put one of these onto a chain, if you created your own bail, put it on a length of chain, what kind of price point would you be putting to achieve? Bearing in mind you've probably got about
probably the price
carats
of that strand for a single piece.
Really?
Yeah, because it's beryl, isn't it? And
yes,
that's
of course.
Let's face it, aquamarine used to be the engagement stone before De Beers promoted
a marketing campaign changed it. Yeah.
So I think that you'd be expecting to get the price back on that strand on a single piece.
And of course, aquamarine is March's birthstone, so maybe you're thinking about creating a special piece of birthstone jewellery for somebody, maybe a loved one. And this could be the perfect investment. $29.95, of course, is our exclusive launch price. So if you are coming in for that at 9 AM tomorrow, you're going to be paying $39.95. Probably a good idea if you are caught in two minds to use your 30-day money-back guarantee and get that strand today while it's available at the Premier launch price. Right, we're going to move on though. Second two. And we're going to offer you an opportunity to get hold of probably the most popular colour scheme of beading threads we've ever brought you. My initial thought, and this just goes to show how girly I really am, the second I said, oh, it's like the Little Mermaid. That's the first thing I thought of. It might just be my obsession with all things Disney. I don't know. So once again, we're bringing you 250 meters of beading thread. The colour tones are incredible. You've got your lime green and your sort of grass green, your royal blue, your sea blue and your sky blue. These would be gorgeous in some of the creations that Gem has put together on that Adventures in Beading Thread DVD that I was talking about earlier. Have you used beading thread as
I like to use
feature?
beading thread to make flowers with, and having the different colours makes it easy to incorporate a beading thread that is appropriate to the colour of the gemstones that you're using. I think it makes lovely flowers. You know, I've also used it in French knitting, and then fed gemstones into the French knitting.
Fantastic.
And again, having the multiple colours makes that easy to use.
Absolutely, you can see there how sort of innovative some of the designs can look from the DVD I was discussing there. And actually, the beading thread is the feature of these designs rather than the gemstones on many occasions. And of course, I've even seen people not only creating sort of flower petals, like Jill was saying, but even doing macrame with beading thread as well.
Yes, the moonstone piece earlier on,
Yes.
I'd used two strands of the different beading threads to make the macrame for the bracelet piece. So it knots really, really well.
With this particular collection, all of the colour tones can be really complementary as well, so you could easily macrame with any variations of these 5 colour tones. And the price point's ridiculous. Here it comes, $7.95 for 250 meters of beading thread. That is ridiculous value. Honestly, you should have a look at the kind of price points you can pay from sort of independent craft shops for this kind of thing. Talking about sort of like 90p a metre, things like that. You've got $7.95 for 250 metres. It's going to go an awfully long way. I know that there's a lot of people out there who have invested in a lot of our jewellery kits over time, and they've got lots and lots of reels of wire, and they sort of trying to come up with innovative uses for it. But I don't think you're going to have that problem with this particular collection because the colours are so impressive.
Well, I think if you start using your beading thread in a similar way to the way you use wire for making components, then it takes it into a very different league, and the versatility of the colours makes that even easier than when we were just having maybe the stainless steel colours on the gold or things. So I love the fact that we're doing the coloured wires.
I suppose that's the key thing about the steel beading thread, that sort of charcoal tone, is that it does blend into the design and it's not really seen as a feature, whereas when you've got the coloured ones, you can absolutely bring them to the forefront of the design and try something different and be more experimental, especially when you've got huge 50-metre reels, so you can't really go wrong. You've got enough to play with.
Well, I think classically you'd consider you'd be doing everything to hide the beading thread, whereas with the different colours it allows you to let the beading thread shine through.
Yeah, absolutely. I've just realised as well that all of these colours are on your top, Jill.
They are. I love that. I love those the greens and the sea blues, and they're tranquil colours, aren't they?
Almost tropical.
Yes. Yeah, I think that they work really well. I think sea and summer and mermaids maybe, and
if you're girly like me,
yeah.
That's the way you see it. Okay, so if you do want to get involved with that, $7.95, and add it to your order price point for 250 metres of gorgeous beading thread, but very, very beautiful colour tones there. And we're going to move it on because we were just talking about the idea of creating quite minimalist designs. Perhaps if you got hold of that strand of beryl, for example, because all you need is a length of chain. Now this is very, very popular with a lot of jewellery makers. You actually get 10 metres of gold-plated copper curb chain here. It's that classic curb there, the 2x1 mil. Oval-shaped links. So it's quite a traditional look really for your chain. Gold-plated copper, of course, so you've got the So the density of the base metal, but the high-end finish from that gold plating. And of course, oh, there you go, used a great effect on the beautiful Gemma Crow. I love that. And also, I have to say, anytime you get an opportunity to invest in gold-plated findings these days, I would snap it up, because, as we know, gold is becoming a little bit hard to come by, shall we say. We haven't found a new gold deposit for over 24 months now, and so some experts predict that if we took all of the available gold in the world, we'd only fill an Olympic-sized swimming pool. So that just goes to show that moving forward, we might be able to get hold of gold-plated findings still, but I'm expecting to see an increase in the price. And despite the fact that we have got a little bit of a limited stock level, we're going to give you an exclusive price reduction this morning. Normally 10 meters of gold-plated copper chain is available for $19.95, which again I think represents the best value on the market, but we're about to go very, very low, I'm being told, but she won't tell me where. $14.95. So producer Dion has just put a crisp £5 note back in your pocket this morning, particularly when you think about another essential component, really, chain. And also, the other thing I do think is good about having a long reel of chain like this is chain often, I think, can get you out of a few crafting cul-de-sacs, shall we say.
Having lots of chain allows you to do the waterfall style necklaces. Gemma did one on, I think, on a birthday show where she just layered it, loads and loads of layers. That, you know, that body piece, yes. Real statement, in a way that just, you know, though a metre of chain is a lot, actually, yes, it's surprising how quickly you can go through it.
Yeah,
so having 10 metres on a roll means that you just really don't have to think about it. You can, you know, let your designs go as you want, flow as that you want them to, rather than having to think, I've only got that amount, I can't do that. So I buy the 10 metre rolls when they're on air, because we don't see them that often, and I think they're incredibly good value, so and really useful, and it's not going to go off, so it's one of those stash items Absolutely. That's worth having on the side.
That's what I was thinking when I was talking about, you know, if you do get yourselves into a little, you know, hiccup with your jewellery making, you can always rescue the design with a length of chain, usually. It will just cover the neckline. And this is the lowest price we have ever taken this reel to. As you can see, they are quickly flying out the door. Our quantity rider's catching up with itself there because they're moving out the door so quickly. We only had 80 available. You can see that about a quarter of the stock's already been allocated. So if you want to get involved with this, as I say, the best possible price point we've ever offered on this, a real essential for most jewellery makers to have in their stash. Even if you haven't got a design in mind right now, you can be sure that some gold chain is not going to be a wasted investment, I wouldn't have thought, as a jewellery maker. 10 metres in total, and of course that works out at £1.50 a metre. So incredible value, really. As I was saying, I went to some independent craft stores early in the week, and they were selling ribbon for £1.30 a metre. So to get gold-plated chain for £1.49 a metre does represent some pretty incredible value, especially when you think that traditionally you might have, say, 35 to 40 centimetres of chain in a necklace design, but of course when you're creating your own designs you don't traditionally have chain across the whole of the neckline, because there's lots of detailing with your gemstones, with your different techniques. So generally I think that jewellery makers only tend to rely on the chain for the neckline itself, so that's more like 20 centimetres of chain generally in a piece of bespoke jewellery design. So that means what, 5 times 10 years, so you could create 50 different necklace designs for $14.95. That sounds totally ridiculous now. I didn't want to finish the sentence in case it wasn't correct. And of course you could go to town. Once you've got 10 metres of wire, you could start to create some of those sort of statement pieces that Gemma's put together. As you can see, well over half the stock's now been allocated, probably because we've taken it to the lowest ever price. unbelievable. Just a quarter of the stock remaining now as our quantity bar just quickly catches up. And if you have placed this in your basket, my advice, check out right now, because we've also got a short queue on our free phone number this morning. So $14.95, of course that price point only available until 9 AM tomorrow morning, or more likely until the next 23 reels are allocated. We're going to move on though. Where to, sorry? I do have rose gold copper beads here. In fact, they're everywhere. They're all over the table. There's hundreds of them. Oh, wow. Okay, have a look at this. This is really what we're talking about when we discuss being your one-stop shop for all your jewellery making needs. It's the idea that we can offer you wholesale bundles or products that basically solve problems for you. So when we're looking at more of these sort of intricate findings, things that provide you with detail, yet don't sort of overpower the design in any way, I think these are key investments for a lot of jewellery makers, because as I say, it just expands the scope of your design process. Maybe just a little touch here or there that forms an attention to detail and maybe sets you apart from other jewellery makers and shows that you're working on a higher level, that you're able to create elite jewellery designs. And that's the difference between creating sort of you know, homemade piece of jewellery and handmade piece of jewellery. And here you're going to get 980 pieces of rose gold flash plated copper, just in case anybody is new to us. Flash is very similar to plating. It's just a slightly thinner micron thickness. So rose gold flash plated copper, there you go. They're 2mm beads. So as I say, quite delicate, quite intricate. Maybe you could use them in your micro macrame designs. Maybe you could actually use these to frame a cabochon in a soutache design to give it a sort of metallic feel. And actually I always think of rose gold as being quite versatile from that point of view. You can either mix it with other metal tones to create a quite contemporary look. You can use the slight pink hue to create a feminine finish, or you can set it into sort of more traditional designs to create a vintage finish. So that's another way that your rose gold findings provide you with scope as a designer, by giving you versatile options. 2mm in size, but actually I've just thought of another way you could use these to accent a gemstone. If you wanted to use a more delicate gemstone as the focal point of a design, you could actually accent it using your rose gold findings. And so again, you're not asking it to compete with another gemstone, if you like, and you create quite a unique finish to your design. 980 pieces in total. Maybe you just want to make your gemstones go that little bit further by using them as spacer beads in your designs. So again, a huge number of opportunities, plenty of design scope when you're working with these, and a wholesale price as ever from us here at JewelleryMaker. $6.95 this morning. Another add it to your order price. Of course, as I say, the reason that I often say that is because we only ever charge you 1 P&P per day. So if you've paid your $2.95, maybe you were inspired by Gill's designs on the kit, maybe you've got hold of the shell pearl or the beading thread or the chain so far. For just $6.95, you can add 980 pieces of rose gold flash copper beads to your order for just $6.95. Absolutely fantastic, and really that's just our way of flexing our value muscles. We are going to move on though. These look rather interesting. I know. Were you intrigued by these, Jill?
I'm intrigued by them, and I'm interested to know what the graphics is going to say they are. But
they're bangles, aren't they?
I think so.
Yes.
So I can't see that because I haven't got my glasses on. But,
I see.
But yeah, I think they're frames for using for bangled cuff style bracelets.
Again, I suppose the design scope's sort of infinite here, because it's literally just the framework. That's what you've got, so you can do whatever you want.
And I think for anyone who thinks they look very small or narrow on circumference wise, actually I've got fairly chunky wrists, and you can open them up to
Yes.
fit my wrist, because I had a little play before the show
Yes.
to see whether they would fit, go from the smaller wrist to a much more chunky one.
I assumed that you would just manipulate them out, because I suppose if they started off wider and then you started to wear it, become really, really loose, whereas if they're made to be tighter, then once you stretch them around your wrist, you're going to have a tighter fit.
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah, cool. So you get 2 of your silver plated copper bangles here. They're actually 60 by 50 mil. Oh, wow. Now, I'll just say, everyone's excited because Zena's just come in and she's actually added 6 of these to her order. Zena has been multi-buying all morning. I think she took 2 or 3 of the shell pearl bundle as well. So Zena is a very savvy shopper here at JewelleryMaker. She knows how to maximise on her 1 P&P per day, and I'll tell you another thing, probably quite astute, because whenever I do go to craft fairs, rings and cuff designs seem to fly off of people's stalls. You always see these sort of bangles and cuffs. I suppose it's because your customers don't feel, you know, as on edge. If you're asking somebody, oh, can I put those pair of earrings in, or can I put that necklace onto it, whereas a bangle you can easily slip it on, see if it looks nice. And you made a great point earlier, Jill, that I hadn't really considered before. If you're wearing a necklace, you're sort of giving everybody else a treat, but you can't see it. Whereas if you're wearing a piece of wristwear, you get to admire it as well.
Yeah, I think for special pieces it's nice because it moves. You can see it every time you do anything, and it means that you can really study the gemstones and see them, rather than them being there for other people's benefit.
Yeah, well, I quite agree actually. Well, lots of people as well. Lots of people talk with their hands, don't they?
Yes.
You know, I get people taking a look at me for gesticulating too much on air actually. So yeah, if you are moving your hands around, lots of people are going to be able to admire your piece of bespoke jewellery. Most people are multi-buying this particular item. I think people are cottoned on to the fact that bangles are so popular, not just for selling, but of course they are popular with youngsters, teenagers, so they sort of span the generations, don't they, cuffs and bangle designs?
They do, and you don't need to know someone's ring size, you don't need to worry if they've got pierced ears or haven't got pierced ears. Everyone has a wrist.
Yes.
So you'd be hard pushed to find someone who couldn't wear a bangle. No,
actually, it's another great point actually, because when people are attending craft fairs, often they are looking for a gift for someone, aren't they? And until it comes to the actual point of purchase, they won't have considered the fact that, oh, I don't know if she's a size N or a size M, and then of course a bangle makes that so much easier. We have in fact had a text in from Della Hobson who says, these are brilliant. I gave one to my daughter and she made a cuff with them. She's 6. So with the framework done, she found it very easy. There you go. Oh wow, Diana just took 4. Okay, we're going to have to put the price on screen, I'm afraid, because over half the stock's already been allocated. We've got just 50 remaining in stock at £7.95. When you think that you're actually also working with silver-plated copper, you've got quite a high-end finish there. For £7.95, that's less than £4 for, I suppose, the fundamental part of your bangle design. You can take it in any direction you want. I can imagine some really intricate wire weaving to sort of adorn the bangle.
I think that you could very easily wire weave it into those, and the fact that you've got your base structure makes it easy for someone who's maybe a beginner to wire work, not used to forming things into structural pieces. That gives you the reassurance of a stable base. It actually raises your confidence in the long run as well, because once you've created something, you can be pretty confident that, you know, the more you practice, the better you're going to get. Yes. And of course, that's a key thing when you are jewellery making. Take yourself out of your comfort zone and really have a bit of a play, see what you can come up with. And Della, she's got back in touch to say it's also perfect for wire mesh. Good work, Della. I didn't think of that. I should have done. So you can actually stretch your wire mesh over the top of this,
So that's even more of the structural part of your design done for you. And then you can just, as I say, just sort of almost embroid the wire mesh with gemstones if you wanted to, couldn't you?
Yeah, I think Gemma Crow's shown us how to do that on a number of occasions using just ordinary wire, but to use it on a frame, genius.
Absolutely. Well, there you go. You saw how popular those were, down to single figures of availability. In fact, I think if everybody who had it placed in their basket was to check out, some people might be disappointed, in fact. So check out as quickly as possible. Now, there's so many cords in this box, can't even get them all out. Here we go. Wow. Once again, a huge variation of colour tones, which is going to provide you with lots of design scope. And you've got 12 reels in total, is that correct? So let's have a look at the colour tones here. You can see here you've got your sort of your cashmere blue, your royal blue, your what green tone would we call this? Almost like an olive green. Then you've got your tangerine, your sort of peach tone, and sort of burnt umber tone. Then you've got your lemon, your yellow, and your tangerine. That's actually your wax cord, and that's your satin cord. So I'll just separate those out. There you go. And then you've got this gorgeous sort of amethyst purple. You've got this ivory tone. You've got your hot pink, and then you've got the suede cord as well. This beautiful green tone. So huge array of cords here. You've got your wax cord, your satin cord, and this this suede cord as well. So perfect for all of the macrame artists out there. And you actually get 25 meters in total. So really, you've got a different cord for every jewellery making scenario here, whether you're going for the contemporary tones and you want to create, I don't know, maybe like sort of holiday jewellery or festival jewellery if you like. But maybe you want to create more toned down and muted looks. Maybe you want to create masculine designs. You've got the masculine colour tones here. So I think macrame bracelets are fantastic as well. They're really popular for unisex pieces, aren't they? The cord collection, and once again a huge influx of buyers both on our free phone number and JewelleryMaker.com. People multi-buying left, right and centre. We only have a limited number available on this particular bundle. Oh wow. £1 a reel. I was just saying, you can pay in independent craft shops £1.30 per metre. Here you've got £1 per reel. Look at that array of colour tones as well. It can absolutely enhance the look of your designs because they're not going to fade into the background, are they? They are going to become a feature of the design. And of course, with the braiding techniques, that's, I think, quite an important thing to consider. Also, a lot of the colour tones are very, very complementary as well. Director Ollie was just saying how much he loved the blue reels, which, funnily enough, producer Dion agreed with. She likes the blue cords as well. Oh, can you just stay on that shot for 1 second? I just can't go on anymore without grabbing. Hi, Director Ollie.
Hi,
Hi, producer Dion. Right, sorry, I'm getting my bag because I want to get the bracelet that Tanya made for me. Sorry, I shouldn't have gone into the gallery, should I? I'm fishing around my tie. My wallet. Here it is. I didn't want to wear my tie because I get too warm. Have a look. This is what Tanya made for me. So these are quite sort of earthy colour tones, aren't they? The sort of khaki colour. But it works perfectly for masculine designs. I've been wearing it since I received it. I only took it off this morning because it was banging on my cufflink. So there you go. Actually, Tanya's already on the line. She just bought 3 of these. Is that the same Tanya? There you go. £11.95, less than £1 a reel this morning. Fantastic value. Okay, I'm going to put these away as best I can, even though I've made a mess everywhere. Okay, we're going to go and have a look at our second kit of the morning, I believe. Yes! It's got the lemon gold pyrite in it.
It's lovely, isn't it?
I've had 3 customers contact me on Facebook this week regarding this, saying, do you know if you're going to be getting any more of this in stock?
It's lovely. It's a real opulent look.
Why do you suppose it works so well in designs? Because it's not really like any other golden tone. Is it just the lift it gives to the designs?
I think it adds a freshness to the colour palette that isn't there just with the ordinary gold. It is yellow rather than gold in colour, and because the coating is unique, isn't it?
Yes.
There isn't a gemstone that gives that pop of colour in that way, and the fact that we've got faceted pyrite again means that it really shows off the colour. Yeah,
absolutely, especially as you've got the irregularity in the faceting, so it really sparkles, doesn't it? Yes, lots and lots of customers have been asking me about this. It's proved to be very, very popular, and I must admit that I was a little naive when we first started stocking the coated pyrites. Coming from, you know, a traditional jewellery background on Gems TV, I always think of pyrite as being that sort of antique gold colour tone, because of course it's known as fool's gold. And so when we started to stock the coated pyrites, I sort of was a bit confused. I was thinking, why would anybody want pyrite that isn't gold? Because it is fool's gold. Anyway, I said this to Gemma Crow actually, and she was not impressed. She was like, are you joking? The coated pyrites are the best things in the world. Because of course it allows you to integrate that slight metallic shimmer into your designs, but you've got the variety of the colour tones. Here you have got the golden shade, but it's not the usual golden tone you'd associate with pyrite. It's probably not even, it's probably brighter than, say, 18 karat gold, isn't it?
I think it is brighter than 18 karat gold. It's lovely.
It's fantastic.
And although they're small, they really are very easy to work with.
Well, again, you've used them to make other gemstones go further in some of your designs. You sort of used it to accent these, haven't you?
I have. I think they work really well as little accent beads. Because of their colour, they pop and they really separate out the gemstones so that you can make the most of them and allow light to get to all of the areas of a stone that wouldn't do if they were one on top of each other.
Absolutely, yeah. So you're really allowing them to sort of be standalone gemstones despite the fact they're quite delicate. And then have a look at this perfect combination, sort of a classic colour combination, isn't it? The royal blue tones with the gorgeous golden shimmers, and then as we've just seen in that necklace design, these beautiful pearls.
Did you just say royal blue?
They're
green.
They're green?
They're green.
I think they're blue.
Oh dear. Well, there we are then. Maybe it's me that's colourblind.
Maybe not. No, there's definitely a green hue in there. You're right.
Good.
You are right. We'll go for like a sort of
bluey
sea green blue. Yeah, almost like a rich turquoise or something like that, or a teal maybe. They're a mixture between royal blue and sort of tropical green, aren't they?
I think so. I don't. They're not a true blue and they're not a true green.
I
think that's probably why we've got different opinions as to exactly what colour they are. But I wouldn't want someone to buy it thinking they were a true blue.
Well, absolutely. It might have just been because it was on the back of my hand and it was just making the colour tone look a little denser. But this is the beauty of working with genuine gemstones. Those variations provide you with design scope and because we want to get the best possible price, let's say they're blue, because that normally encourages producer Dion to go low.
Yeah, I think that's a good ploy.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so they're blue. For now, they're blue. We've also got your cultured pearls here. These are your biwa pearls, so they've got that irregular, almost rectangular style shape, but with those irregularities, so not a classic rectangle by any means. Beautiful pearlescence there. Those actually range in size from 11 by 10 to 22 by 8. They've been used to great effect in Gill's necklace design. We've also got your classic threading materials here. 50 metres of beading thread, 6 metres of elastic and 80 metres of monofilament. You've got a huge array of findings here because these are your gold plated copper findings, so you get 115 pieces, a metre of chain, 3 different kinds of head pins, including the finer ones, the 0.3 mil that will go through the smaller drill holes. You've got your ribbon cord endings, your fancy earring findings, your shepherd hooks, your toggle clasps, your jump rings, your crimp bead covers as well. So pretty much everything you can need and then some. 115 pieces in total, but that's not all you get. Am I right in thinking this is part of the kit as well?
Yes.
A few little extra items. This is your shrink plastic. I've actually played with this before. The first time it ever came into building, Linda and I were playing around with this. We made a little gingerbread man, and it now hangs proudly on my Christmas tree every year. So there you go, I actually have had to play with it. Really fun item to use.
It is a fun item to use, and it's really versatile. It allows you to add a completely different dimension to your work. And if you don't want it for yourself, then the kids will love it. Supervised, of course, but nonetheless the kids will love it.
I think, you know, traditionally when this product was first launched onto the market, it was sort of promoted as something to do sort of crafting with children, but some of the designs I've seen using this are phenomenal. We're not talking about sort of children's craft work, we're talking about boutique style jewellery.
Well, if you put shrink plastic images into any of the search engines, it'll come up with a whole range of different ideas, and you don't have to be an artist. It will go through a printer safely for you.
Yes,
you can print things out and just trace over outlines, and so yeah, it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be high art.
Doesn't have to. No.
Just has to I suppose, give you a unique finish to jewellery designs, which it always does, I suppose.
Well, you make it for yourself, you make the component for yourself, so you can take it in any direction you want. So if you want a well-known children's character as a feature, you can make it for yourself.
You can indeed.
If you want something that's simple and delicate, you can do that as well.
There you go. So you've got 3 strands of gemstones, 115 pieces of gold-plated copper, you've got your traditional threading materials, and we're also throwing in your shrink plastic, so you actually get your coloured pencils so that you can create designs, but you get, how many sheets do you get, sorry?
5.
5 sheets of shrink plastic as well. Of course, you can make your designs as big or as small as you want. So the price point is totally ridiculous. Can't believe how much we're giving away here for this price point. But as I say, this is our way of helping you to get started with the art of jewellery making. And so, we're going to give you a JewelleryMaker price point. $24.95. Once again, I mean, you'd be happy to pay that for the gemstones alone, wouldn't you? Phenomenal. I mean, the pearls, come the end of the year, how, you know, who knows how much a strand of biwa pearls will be. I love the pearlescence that you're getting from these particular pearls, actually, because of those irregularities.
They're lovely.
They're fantastic, aren't they? The pinks and the greens, they're all swirling around on the surface of the pearls. Those are perfect for sort of bridal wear, I suppose, aren't they?
They are, and that's one of the reasons why I kept one of the pieces as simple as it is and just hung them onto drops on the neck piece, because I think it allows you to show off the beauty of the biwa pearls to the best.
It's a classic look, but you know, with a bespoke finish, so you really what jewellery making is all about. $24.95 is the price for the kit. And which of your designs are you going to show us?
We're going to show you people how to use the shrink plastic. Great. Because it's a medium that isn't shown that often.
No.
And I think it's a medium that might sometimes frighten people, perhaps. So what you have to remember when working with the shrink plastic is it does what it says on the tin.
Yeah.
It is going to shrink, and so if you're new to it, cut a ruler size piece off, mark it in centimetres or inches, whichever is your preferred dimension to work with, and shrink it. So you have an idea of what size piece you need to start out with to get a piece that you're going to finish with.
And it's always funny the first time you watch people use it, that moment of panic when it starts to curl up and they think, oh, I've ruined it, and then it just settles down and takes form again. So yes.
Yeah, I think so. So for all I've done is cut myself out a little flower, and I've written some words on it with a marker pen. Any form of indelible marker pen will do, just as a guide. You can colour on the opposite side, and we're going to do that in a minute. But it gives you a layered look, which I like. And then I've cut it out, so it cuts out with an ordinary pair of scissors. Doesn't need anything more fancy. And I've coloured with on the shiny side, and if you turn them over, there is a matte side. You can see it's a more frosted appearance. And then all you need to do is take your pencils, which come in the kit, and then literally colour. You just have to remember that when you're colouring with the colour will intensify as you shrink it. So you don't need to have everything pristine. You don't need to be a complete artist. You can see I'm literally just drawing some lines in rather than being really worried about it. And you just carry on then until you've got the piece that's the size you want and the shape and the colours that you want, just to give it some texture and some point of difference. And as I say, this is another example of where my lack of artistic skills comes to the fore, but you just proves that you don't need to be an artist. I think Dion has also has a set of the sparkly jelly roll pens available.
She does indeed. We'll bring it on screen right now.
And the thing for these is when you start to draw them, it looks really not so sparkly. So we'll just carry on.
Because they almost look like they've got glitter through them, which I think they have, but it's not as intense as it looks when they're inside the pen.
No.
I see.
So if you want to bring that while I finish off colouring this bit in, that would be a great move.
Yeah,
That's
come on,
awesome.
Get
I'm
on
sorry.
with it.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm
It's me
joking, I'm just
directing
winding
from
her
the
up.
floor. There we are. It's just that it allows you to show them.
Stardust pens, yes. So you get the purple, the green, the red. What's this? The gold? Is that
It's
a gold?
gold and a clear.
Oh, it's a clear. That's what I was thinking. Right, okay. $7.95. Another added to your order price. Actually, I suppose these will have applications in other crafting as well. I
They
suppose.
do. If you take those, they'll work on leather.
Really?
Quite well.
That's
If
good
you went into an average craft store, they tend to sell them in singularly rather than in packs of 5, and they are often around £2 plus a pen.
Right, okay.
So
definitely getting a saving there then.
It's a good saving from that point of view, and they add a sparkle. You can see the difference between where I've coloured with my pencils and where I've coloured with the pens.
Perfect.
Okay. So.
You are getting an impact from that, but you're right, it's not over the top with the glitter or anything.
it's not.
Fantastic.
And now I'm going to, so the next thing to do is to make a hole. You can use whatever you want. I've left my punch down on the floor, so I'm not going to go down. But
Do you want me to get it
well,
for you?
I can get it because I know where it is. So
Oh, sorry.
it's all right, don't worry. So, but you need to make a hole. You can punch it afterwards. It works well, but I think
after you've shrunk it, you can still do it then.
do if you want to. And I'm just using a friendly JM hole punch, but any paper craft punch will do equally as well. And all I'm going to do is trap it in and push, and it will take a piece out of it.
Now we've also got these marker pens here, and would you normally use these to draw the outline of your design?
Well, I think it's easier if you've got an outline. You don't have to have an outline to work with, but I do think it's easier to do so.
So you actually get 2 of your black markers here.
There's mine.
Oh, there you go. Jill's got the exact same one. Zig Zig Cure Colour twin markers, so you get 2. And here comes your price point. $6.95, and then add it to your order price. And great way to get hold of these. I will just show you that you've got a thick end and a thin end. Ah, Jill's one step ahead of me. There you go.
So so you've got a thin end for drawing fine lines and a thicker end for covering bigger areas. And I've had mine maybe 8 months now, and I use it quite a lot because it's a go-to colour for everything, works with everything, and it's still going strong.
There you go then, can't go wrong, can you?
So I've now got my hole in place.
The exciting bit.
This is the bit where you want, is it going to work? I've turned my piece over, so I've got the shiny side up because I find it easier to manage that way, but you don't have to. And I've got a JM heat gun here. You can, of course, just put it in the oven on a low temperature, just read the instructions on the packet to get the one that you want. But
oh no, I've ruined it! This is what VR people always react.
Yeah.
All of a sudden.
And it will just, bit by bit by bit, straighten itself out.
There you go.
And at this stage, it's malleable. You might need asbestos fingers, but you can flatten it out or you can shape it. So if you want your flower to have some texture, then you just mould it gently into shape while it's cooling.
Fantastic.
So here we have a little heart, a little flower connector piece.
I love it.
And on the back, which is where I was drawing, you can see that you've got much more intense glitter now than you had before.
Absolutely. Almost looks like a gemstone, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So,
that's brilliant. If you do want to get involved with this particular kit, then the price point is just $24.95 this morning. You can see there that Jill's used it to create some very interesting and very unique pieces of jewellery. But of course, you've got the classic combination there of the metallic tones with those forest greens or sea blues, depending on which way you see it, as well as another sort of classic and traditional look there from your pearls as well. Pearls in the gold always looks very elegant, doesn't it, I think?
Absolutely elegant, yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. So this kit for me actually takes you from one end of the spectrum to the other. You can either use it to create some sort of everyday, quite contemporary looks, or you can go in the other direction and create some very classic sort of boutique style designs as well. Yeah. You've got your pearls and classic combination of gemstones, but you've also got the shrink plastic, which will help to maybe make your gemstones go a little bit further. $24.95, and it's time now, once again, to go and see what you've been creating as we head over to the Wall of Fame. Welcome back. Time now for the Wall of Fame. So we're going to have another look at some of your designs, and Jill's going to lead the way.
Okay, so this is from Lachlan. This is my next entry to the Wall of Fame. It is a set of serpentine ovals, 6mm crackled quartz, red garnets and gold coloured wire, all from JM. And it's a beautiful set of jewellery that shows the stones off perfectly. So yeah, well done, Lachlan.
Very coherent, sort of sweet, isn't it? Yeah, you can imagine people fall in love with one and end up buying all 3 pieces of that one, can't you? This is a very contemporary look, actually. Again, mix of the contemporary and the classic with the pearls set into this strange wire design. I suppose that's a stretched out gizmo, is it? Something like that? Let's find out, I suppose.
Or it might be one of the connectors that they've stretched out that we've had.
Yes, I know the ones.
Hopefully it'll say.
Yes, this has been sent in by Gaynor, and you are number 57. It says, hello, please find attached my first entry to the Wall of Fame. I found Jem in February this year and quickly got completely hooked on jewellery making and now have more tools than my husband. There you go. This design was inspired from one made by Linda and consists of blue and white pearls and Wags Y cones. I have just started to dabble in wire work, really enjoying the shows, although I miss out on some of the offers on the live day shows as I work. So it would be nice for some evening design inspiration shows as well. Well, we've been doing a few of those because I think I've had a designer on the Late Show the last 4 or 5 times that I've been on. So yeah, we've been bringing more designers onto the Late Show just for you, Gaynor. So yeah, fantastic. Great design.
If you look on the website, it has the show schedule for the following week. So if you just flick through that, it'll tell you which evening shows have a guest designer there.
But tune in no matter what for the deals.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Because the evening show has fantastic deals. Always does.
Jill,
have.
you can come back.
Well, I think each show has its own format, doesn't it? So mornings are for bigger volume launches, maybe. The afternoon is for inspiration, and the evening is for bargains, bargains, and bargains. So the next piece is from Annette. So this bracelet is to my own design using 1mm and 0.4mm copper wire and a beautiful deep dyed agate from a bead scoop plus some smaller blue agate rounds. I think the copper goes really well with the blue and hope you like it. Best wishes. Well, I think you're absolutely right. I think that the copper does set off that blue beautifully, and your wire work is lovely.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. It would go with your top.
It would do,
wouldn't it? Now this is really impressive because I think it might be sort of almost like irregular chainmail. I could be wrong. This is beautiful. It's a tree of life created, I think, using 2 or 3 different techniques. It looks like Viking knit on the neckline, wire work, and then this almost looks like chainmail with the regular jump
I think
rings.
they might have used, and I'm guessing because I haven't seen the thing, just some of the metre lengths of chain that come in, and that they've hooked those in and sort of made a tangle with it.
I think you're right. I think that's what it is. It says, good morning, JM. For this week's Hall of Fame, I've sent a first attempt of a tree of life with chain. First attempt, wow. I wasn't sure how to make it as I only saw a picture. It's not great, but I'm sure the next one will be better. Fingers crossed for a win, as I've run out of chain. From Cheryl in Grimsby. So I think you're right about the chain then, because it's all been used. Well, if they're going to turn out any better than that, then we're all in trouble as jewellery makers. I think that's fantastic.
It's a lovely use of the chain, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And another good reason for going and buying that 10 metres roll, if it's still available.
You could create it in gold, couldn't you? That would look really very elegant indeed. So you're number 56. Well done, Cheryl.
And the final entry for this part is Louise from, where's she coming from? She says, from Essex. She says, here are my latest corrections following a studious day at JM Towers on Gemma's wire mesh workshop today. Had a great time learning how to do the rose and then the open flower. Another first is using the hair comb and headband. Can't wait for tomorrow, another amazing day with Gemma. Thank you to everyone for putting together these days, and good luck to everyone in the draw.
Fantastic. Well, those are very professional looking, aren't they?
They are.
Could be used as bridal wear, I suppose. Yes, and if you do want to get involved with any of the workshops here at JewelleryMaker, then give us a call. You'll be put through to our workshop coordinator, Wendy, and you can come down to the studios and maybe add a new string to your bow, taught by one of our expert designers. But we are going to go to a quick break now. When we return, we are going to be launching a brand new strand of tanzanite. So not to be missed, very, very exciting opportunity to bring you one of the big 5 thanks to this gemstone. A gemstone thought to be 1,000 times rarer than diamonds. That's coming up in just 2 minutes time, so don't move a muscle.
and join guest designer Laura Binding on our intermediate wirework course. The aim of the course is to enhance your wirework skills and take your designs to the next level. You will learn more advanced weaving and binding techniques which you can incorporate into your jewellery. The full course includes a selection of gauges of wire, a generous scoop of mixed gemstones, a copy of the Wirework Tutorial DVD Edition 3, a buffet-style lunch and refreshments, a tour of the studios and chance to meet the presenters, and a visit to our Gemstone Museum. All of this for just £79.95. To book your place, contact our call centre on 0800 644 655. JewelleryMaker, bringing out the designer in you.
JewelleryMaker course gift vouchers are now available. You can choose from a bronze, silver or gold voucher. Each voucher is worth a different amount that entitles you to put towards a course of your choice. For more information, contact our call centre on 0800 644 655.
Hi Jewellery Makers, if you're a Freeview viewer, you can now continue to watch the show live by switching over to channel 64. Our brand new 24-hour channel is available to the majority of homes in the UK, so grab your remote now to make sure you don't miss a thing.
When shopping with JewelleryMaker, you can add as many items to your order in one day and only pay one postage and packaging charge. We have two delivery options. Standard delivery at just £2.95 and you'll receive your parcel within 4 to 6 days. Or opt for our premium delivery at just £4.95 and you'll receive your parcel within 3 to 4 days. Happy shopping with JewelleryMaker.
Do you need a helping hand to get started with JewelleryMaker? Are you stuck for ideas and need inspiration? Then visit our JewelleryMaker website where you can find our video tutorials. Expand your knowledge and skills with these easy to follow jewellery making demonstrations. Whether you're a beginner, hobbyist or business owner, there's always something new to learn. It couldn't be easier. Simply click and learn some new jewellery making techniques.
If for any reason you're not satisfied with your purchase, you have the benefit of our no quibble 30-day money-back guarantee. Just complete the returns form enclosed with your goods and send them back for a full refund.
Welcome back to JewelleryMaker. Time now for a very exciting opportunity. The chance to own one of the big 5. Now traditionally we talk about the big 4: diamonds, rubies, sapphires. What was the other one? Emeralds, one of my favourites. And unfortunately they haven't got it all to themselves anymore, because in the late 1960s we discovered gorgeous tanzanite, a one-location gemstone, and we now talk about it as a big 5, because this gemstone has managed in such a short time to create a very prestigious following, if you like. It's thought to be 1,000 times rarer than diamonds, and the reason we say that is that it only comes from one location and there's just one mine known to us, and it's called Tanzanite 1 for good reason. Now, when we first started selling tanzanite here at Gems TV, we were a little bit worried because we started to find that the actual resource itself was becoming a little bit depleted, and we were led to believe it would be a one-generational gemstone, and so we were thinking that maybe your children, or certainly your children's children, would never have the opportunity to own gorgeous tanzanite. Now, fortunately, we have discovered new deposits of tanzanite within that mine, and it's because of the way the mine itself is structured. It's actually structured in steps, so we were sort of drilling straight and missing deposits, but we have found more tanzanite. The problem is, you know, no matter how much tanzanite we find in that one mine, there is still just one mine, and so the rarity of a one location gemstone is always sort of amplified, if you like. Over the last few months, the Department of Minerals in Tanzania have decided to put new sanctions on the exporting of tanzanite. Now, we as a company traditionally contact mine owners directly, and we cut the gemstones ourselves. That's how we're able to offer you such incredible value for genuine gemstones, by cutting out those middlemen. Unfortunately, the new sanctions that have been placed on tanzanite mean that it's all got to be cut within that region. Now, we're very responsible as a company, particularly for an area like Tanzania, where we do sort of extract a lot of gemstones from that region. It's a very gem-rich area of the world, Tanzania. And so we tried to give something back. At the start of the year, we actually broke a world record by cycling to Tanzania and back. Digitally, we did it on an exercise bike, and I think the world record was because we kept going for 24 hours a day for a whole month. And lots of members of the JM team did their bit, did their stint. Dan, on cameras, you must have cycled a good 150 kilometres, something like that?
Every day I was in for half an hour per day.
Every day that he was in, he cycled for half an hour to try and help the team. We did this as a whole company, the Genuine Gemstone Company, and so we cycled to Tanzania and back, and we managed to raise around £100,000, which will be put back into that area. So we're trying to build 5 schools in Tanzania to try and help the communities from which we take resources. So I think we're trying to responsibly sort of share Mother Nature's creations, but it's, you know, it's not enough. And of course, you know, the different parts of Africa can be very impoverished, and of course it's never enough, is it? We can always do more. But now the commercial realities of selling tanzanite, because it's such a major export for that region, is that all of the tanzanite is going to be cut on site, and so of course that creates sort of jobs and income for those communities, because they're going to be gemstone cutting. But the inevitable sort of end product is that it's going to cost a little bit more to invest in the gemstone. Now, I have to say, if you've been buying tanzanite from us here at JewelleryMaker, I almost think we've been in danger of devaluing the gemstone. When I think about the kind of price points you can pay for it, I often reference the fact that the most expensive piece of jewellery I've ever sold in nearly 7 years in the industry was a tanzanite ring. I think it was a treble A, but it might have been a quadruple A. So I'll have to check that. But that is the grading process for tanzanite. So it goes A, double A, treble A, and quadruple A. You're probably going to be expecting to pay 4-figure sums for quadruple A's. In fact, the ring that I sold went for £3,999. So that's, you know, that's quite a good investment, especially when the customer got it valued at over £5,000. So that goes to show you the value that you get from Gems TV for your tanzanite, which of course has a different finish to the tanzanite we bring you here at JewelleryMaker. Just have a look at this. You'd expect now to see some sort of tumbled nuggets, I suppose, but actually we have got faceted top drilled drops of tanzanite. Gorgeous look to this gemstone in itself because of its pleochroism. So that basically means that you can see more than one colour tone in the gemstone depending from which angle you look at. And so from one angle you're going to see the sort of blue tones, from the other you're going to get the violets, and then if you're lucky you might also see a little flash of pink in there as well, which I can see in some of these gemstones already. Quite dynamic facets on this. Often you've got quite rounded cuts on your tanzanite because it's not traditionally a gemstone where you have to sort of hide the inclusions, they often provide you with a little more depth, so you try to get more of a rounded cut to the gemstone. But here you can see that the lapidates actually create very definitive facets on the surface of the gemstone, almost a sort of checkerboard facet, if you like. And so you're going to get that greater play of light, basically a little more sparkle. And whenever somebody tells me that most people buy blue gemstones off them, I always sort of assume what they mean is they've been working with tanzanite. People are aware of the prestige attached to this gemstone. Of course, it was exclusively sold by Tiffany's when it was first discovered, and I think that seems to accelerate the prestige attached to a gemstone, and you can see that that's happened with tanzanite, because in just, what, 50, 60 years, it's managed to create the same kind of gravitas around it as the likes of emerald, rubies, diamonds, gemstones that we've been trading in for thousands of years. So it is a very, very exciting prospect, but nowadays, the region in which this is actually mined for is they're having to start protecting their commercial investments. So whenever you see a strand here at JewelleryMaker, start dialing the free phone number. You know we're going to be able to offer you the best value on the market, and here it comes. $35.95 is the price point that we can offer you this morning for 60 carats of tanzanite. So what are we talking about there? Say 60p a carat, something like that? Pretty ridiculous, isn't it?
It's really silly. I love tanzanite. It's another birthstone, so it makes it that much more special in my mind. It happens to be my birthstone, which adds to it. So I think that it is, and it's not going to last forever. The mine will deplete at some stage. It's inevitable, and I think it's a privilege to be able to own a stone that is so rare, much rarer than diamond, and a lovely colour tone as well. I
have to ask then, do you actually own some of tanzanite?
I do actually. I have a quad A tanzanite.
Oh, you've got a quad A tanzanite.
Wow.
I won't ask you how much you paid for it, but I imagine it wasn't $35.95. As I say, I've sold a treble A, well, virtually for the same price if you move the decimal point 2 places.
well, my quad A didn't cost that amount, but it did come from gems.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yes.
So
maybe you bought my ring off me.
No, it wasn't that price.
Oh, okay,
even my bank balance doesn't extend that far, but it's a 1 carat stone, and it's beautiful, and I wear it sometimes on my engagement finger ring because my engagement ring doesn't fit me at the moment.
There you go.
So it's beautiful.
Well, I've bought tanzanite for all the ladies in my family, I think, because I love the gemstone as well. There's something special about being able to say, you know, not only does it have, you know, similar sort of gravitas to a diamond, but it's actually 1,000 times rarer. That is such an impressive statistic, if you like. And not often something we sort of associate, I suppose, with gemstones statistics, because we're more thinking of the romance, but it's just a sort of interesting piece of information that makes the gemstone more desirable, because we don't know how long this is going to last for. And did you have a text message you wanted to share? Here it comes. This has come in from a very regular customer, Sally in Worcestershire, just down the road, and it says, "Ed on a morning show, what a treat." Thanks, Mum. Only joking. Thanks, Sally. Jill, you are great. You explain everything so well, and it's so easy to follow what you're doing. Thanks so much. Well, I would have to agree with Sally on that one. I just said that was one of the most fantastic shrink plastic demos I'd ever seen. And Angela also texted in saying, "My engagement ring came from Gems, is tanzanite. It cost £500 and was valued at over £1,000. So there you go. That just goes to show. In fact, I read an email that was sent to the owner of the company, Steve Bennett, the other day, saying that a lady had bought a ring from Gems TV for around about £5,000, and she'd had it valued over £15,000. So that's pretty incredible, isn't it, when you think about the kind of value that we're able to offer you here at JewelleryMaker. Of course, as I say, you know, we do work directly with the mine owners, and I imagine the owner of the company, Steve Bennett's on first name terms with the people that own Tanzanite 1. And it used to be the case that we would just stroll up there, get the most competitive price on the market because of our relationship, send the rough to our own cutting facility and give you that kind of value. We can no longer do that, but we're giving a little bit of a swan song to our Tanzanite prices of old at the moment. And so if you do see increases, they will be industry-wide, but here at JewelleryMaker and, well, the Genuine Gemstone as a company, as you can see, we are determined to give you the best value we possibly can. We are going to leave that one with you, and we're going to move on. I should just say that the wonderful sales manager, Scotty Too Hotty, actually provided us with that strand that just came into the building. So they just arrived in our warehouse, and Scott was straight on it to offer everybody a Friday treat. All I can say is he learnt from the best. Right, okay, coming up in 10 minutes, another incredible strand from our Gems of Distinction range, beautiful black spinel. So another classic gemstone, another gemstone associated with, you know, top-end jewellery design, really. But, of course, we're going to be giving you a JewelleryMaker price, an exclusive launch price coming up on your spinel in 10 minutes, so not to be missed. I love the cut on these as well. They're going to almost sort of tessellate in your designs.
They're lovely, and the sparkle that comes off the spinel is fabulous.
Incredible, isn't it? That classic lustre, very elegant evening wear I normally associate black spinel with, but I imagine there's a lot of jewellery makers out there who've got other ideas of how they're going to work that into their designs. I have to tell you, I've been offered one other Gems of Distinction strand. This is part of our collector's edition. And when you see the colour tones, you'll understand why. Another of the big four, in fact, I'm going to just take it out of here because I want to be able to show you this colour tone. And I always get excited when I see sapphires this colour. And, my word. Was it Saturday that we had the sapphires that almost look like Padaparachas?
Yes, it was. Yeah, we had a multi-colour strand.
Yeah, and there was a few on there that looked like it. This looks like an entire strand of Padaparacha sapphires. It's been classified as orange sapphire, but you've definitely got the pinks and the red hues coming through there as well, giving it that almost sort of a tropical tone. And I have to warn everybody, we've actually only got a limited number available on this particular strand, around 30. Of course, when you're finding sapphires that offer you this unique colour tone, it is a bit few and far between. We're at Mother Nature's mercy on that one, I'm afraid. So we only got around 30 strands. We're going to bring that to you around about midday, did you say? Yeah? Next hour, sorry, after midday. Oh, sorry, my apologies. Okay, so we're going to move on. And these spacer beads, little, or crimp bead covers, here we go. So this is fantastic because if you got hold of the 980 pieces of rose gold as the little spacers, we've now got the crimp bead covers. Now crimp bead covers for me, you got your goggles on, girls? I am so bad with tweezers, it's unbelievable. I'll just flick that across the studio. So somebody's getting 199. I'm only joking, we'll find it. Okay, here we go. So these really provide you with a professional finish to your designs because they sort of hide the component parts. We've been talking about making a feature of component parts, but with crimp beads, that can be a little bit uncomfortable on the neckline or the wrist line once you've actually squished them.
Well, certainly if you're just using a pair of flat nose pliers to squash your crimp beads, then you end up with a sharp edge, that benefits from being covered. It's a mark of high-end pieces, I think, that the fact that you finished something so nicely. I totally agree.
And I think it's the finish that distinguishes, again, between it being, you know, a piece of sort of homemade craft work and a piece of handmade bespoke jewellery. All about the finish, and of course crimp bead covers allow you to create that professional finish by covering up the crimp beads themselves, but also they almost become a little bit of a feature of the design. because once you've covered these up, they give you that rose gold shimmer. This is rose gold plated copper, so once again, you do have your high-end finish, but you've got the density from your base metal, so you can afford to be a little bit more robust with your finding, but you know that it is going to add value and add to the look of your designs. Rose gold plated crimp bead covers here. These are 5x3mm in size, and you get 200. Now, we were talking earlier about the sort of sterling silver findings pack we had. It was already a much larger size than the one we originally offered you when we launched JewelleryMaker. We used to have one findings option, and it was 25 pieces of sterling silver, I believe. Now, because of your loyalty as customers, I suppose, we've been able to expand at a rate of knots over the last 4 years. We now have a huge variety of findings. We've got your base metals, we've got your plated base metals, we've also got your semi-precious and even your precious metals in our finding collection, and we can give you wholesale opportunities. So, you know, it used to be you'd probably invest in a kit, get hold of 25 pieces of sterling silver, and then you'd have to make another order 2 days later because you'd ran out of findings. But nowadays, you can stock up on your essential findings, and it can be very frustrating if you're working through the design process and you get to the end and you haven't got the intended component part or finding to complete your design. I have experienced it myself. And so always important to take advantage of our wholesale deals, especially if you've already got a P&P up and running today, because this is going to be coming to you at an add it to your order price. Rose gold plated copper crimp beads covers for $7.95. Of course, you're only going to pay one P&P per day here at JewelleryMaker of just $2.95. So if you have paid that, now is your opportunity to add to that order for just $7.95. Director Ollie just said, if you can you pick it up? I don't think I can. I think I've got a problem with this. I wouldn't be much good in your theatre, would I?
No. Dropping things
I've done it
not
again.
a good move.
I caught it this time. I actually caught that in my other hand. That was actually really impressive. It's good that I can impress myself. Nobody else is impressed. Lots of multi-buyers on this one once again. Welcome back to Zena. You've been coming in left, right and centre today, making the most of that one P&P per day. Stocking up on, well, some of your exclusive items and some of your essential pieces there. $7.95 for rose gold plated copper crimp covers. We're going to move on. We've got a lot to fit in this morning, and this is representative of the best value of the whole show, in my opinion. I say that having just brought you 60 carats of tanzanite for £35, so I'm still confident, don't worry. Mainly because I'm about to take all of these gemstones to the equivalent of £2.50 a strand. I've just told everybody the price there. This is a 10 strand super saver. Once again, this is our way of providing you with a wholesale deal, and we do it by creating unique discount bundles. So this is only available until tomorrow at 9 AM, or as I say, more likely while stocks last, because I can see this one flying out the door. Great way to not just replenish your stocks, but a lot of people tell me that they take inspiration from the gemstones. And so if you're looking at your collection of gemstones and you're not feeling particularly inspired, this could be a great way to expand your collection, and to do it very, very quickly, because you've got a huge array of gemstones here and you've got something for every possible scenario. I'm going to get these all across the back of my hand if they'll fit. There's so many gemstones here. Here we go. And these are my big man hands as well. It's a good job I'm on this morning, not the girls, because they wouldn't be able to pick up all of these. Look at this. So, where to begin, I suppose? Have a look at this. Beautiful rose quartz 6mm rounds, giving you over 80 carats in total, and very popular gemstone. Often when people are selling their bespoke jewellery designs, their customers are interested in the folklore and the legend surrounding the gemstone. Of course, rose quartz has very romantic connotations, known as the gemstone of true love. And the look of your rose quartz is mirrored in these impact gemstones. This is your rose pink quartzite, 14 mil rounds now, and those actually give you 500 carats of quartzite. This is a classic combination, isn't it? Your pinks and your purples together. And here you've got your amethyst nuggets. Absolutely gorgeous because you've got that organic finish there from the irregularities. They range in size from 7x2 to 11x2, giving you over 200 carats. Actually, another sort of classic accompaniment to those regal purple tones is this beautiful, it's somewhere between, actually I'll go, it's a neon blue, that's what I think we're looking at there. And this is your well, it says sky blue, but I think it has a stronger colour saturation than that. And these are your 8 mil rounds of quartzite, giving you 150 carats. And then we've got everybody's favourite, gorgeous labradorite, one of the most popular gemstones within the bespoke jewellery sector. Certainly here at JewelleryMaker, it's been voted as your favourite gemstone for the last 2 years. And I can see straight away that it's picking up the colour tones from the quartzite and the amethyst, and I'm seeing flashes of violet and electric blues coming through in the labradorescence. I think you can just about see it there. You can actually see it in abundance when you get the gemstone home. It's just that, of course, because of the irregularity in the faceting, only certain faces of the gemstone are angled towards our light. So I'm only halfway, by the way. I've got another 5 strands to bring you. A huge wholesale opportunity here, and of course you've got the nuggets there, so those are traditionally twice the length of a normal strand here at JewelleryMaker. Have a look at these are like little strawberries. These are your red quartzites, again this time with your droplet style, so I suppose you could set them that way, or of course you can set them in a more classic setting so that they drop down on the décolletage or from the ears. And you've got 240 carats there. They're actually 14 by 10 mil in size. Ah, is this another sample of my birthstone? It is indeed. It's Rainbow Moonstone once again. I can see that gorgeous agilurescence there, and I'm going to struggle to see it on screen, but you can see that little electric blue schiller inside the gemstone. Gorgeous, very historic gemstone. Been set into jewellery design since 100 AD. And then we've got another variation of your moonstone, this time your peach moonstone. 80 carats in total, again 6 mil rounds. Very, very popular, of course, for so many different disciplines. Kumihimo, macrame, soutache, wirework, your classic beady beads. I'm sure to have forgotten some as well. Then, a very difficult mineral for us to source here at JewelleryMaker, mainly because, well, we're at Mother Nature's mercy as ever. We'll only ever manage to get hold of ethically sourced coral, and so of course we have to wait for that to be available. But of course there's also a lot of synthetic coral on the market, and so that makes it more difficult to get hold of, and it also distorts the market a little, if you like, and so we have to be sure that we are selling exactly what we say we are. So we lab test each and every gemstone strand to ensure that that is the case. But as I say, when unscrupulous characters are sort of dyeing other gemstones and calling it coral, it just distorts the market value a little. And then have a look at this. This is gorgeous because once again it's all about the amount of scope you get as a designer. And here you've got a beautiful variation in the colours of your quartz. Basically you've got clear quartz, rose quartz, and 2 different varieties of amethyst there. Your lavender amethyst and your traditional amethyst. And that's just half the gemstones. I'm going to put the other half back on here. You can see lots of people already adding this to their basket. Now, I'm fairly convinced that none of these gemstones would be available on our website for the price point that you're going to be able to get them at this morning. None of them are available for £2.50. But that's the exact amount of value we're going to give you this morning. £24.95 for a 10 strand super saver. And if you do want to get involved, you need to be acting very, very quickly. We've actually created a queue on our phone lines. And I love the variation of colours you've got here as well. fantastic combination because yes, you've got the vibrancy from the more primary tones, if you like, which will be perfect for your summer designs, maybe your quartzites and your corals. But then if you wanted to create a piece of, you know, feminine evening wear, you've got your peach moonstone, your pastel pinks from your rose quartz, you've got the regal tones from your amethyst. And of course, as you move through the seasons, you've got more depth and more drama from the likes of your labradorite, this variation in the colour tones of the quartz as well. Again, it almost has those sort of associations with confectionery, and that's because the gemstones have been faceted again, so you get that little sparkle, almost like sugar work, I suppose. That's where I'm coming from, just because of the colour tones. But yeah, a hugely impressive bundle, and this is how we're able to offer you the best value in the market, by bundling together a number of items and creating a wholesale deal. This is a sort of unique discount code, what you're seeing right now, which will only be available until 9 AM tomorrow morning, or more likely for about the next 5 minutes or so, the amount of people who are flying in to get hold of this. We've got about 20 people with this in their baskets at JewelleryMaker.com. So if all of those were to check out, we'd be looking at quite limited availability, in fact. So if you are coming through on the phone lines, don't panic. Just wait to speak to a member of our award-winning help team. Those will add one of these to your order. And good luck to everybody who is in that queue, because we only have around 30 of this bundle remaining in stock. And if you do place it in your basket, please check out. Otherwise, you run the risk of missing out on this, because as phone buyers come through, they are actually multi-buying this particular deal. I suppose when you've got this kind of value, it pays to multi-buy. We were talking about the price of synthetics, weren't we, on Saturday afternoon, weren't we?
Yes.
We were saying you can almost pay these kind of prices for glass beads.
You can easily pay £2.50 for a strand of glass beads, and they don't feel the same.
No.
They don't appeal personally to me in the same way as knowing that I've got a genuine gemstone. It sort of just makes it more magic, more special. Just knowing that, no one else need necessarily realise, but it certainly makes me feel much better about the things I'm wearing. We know that coming from gems, it's been ethically sourced. They're not being made in a factory where people maybe not being paid a living wage. So I think a hugely, just fabulous value, and incredibly cheap at that price. A real stash builder.
Yes, that's the key thing, isn't it? Because as I say, a lot of people say that it's the gemstones that lead them through the creative process, and so if you've got a huge variety of gems, then you're never going to be at a loss. Sometimes I suppose it's a bit like, it's a bit like a blank page. It's difficult to get started. Once you've started, you can normally get to the end of your essay, if you like. But when you're sort of setting out on your design process and you're not feeling particularly inspired by the gemstones, it's probably going to affect the finish you get on the piece of jewellery, I would imagine, because you're not going to be impassioned about what you're creating.
For me, if I don't like what I'm working with, I don't want to work with it.
Yeah.
So I'm much more likely to just put it away and walk away, rather than actually
Come back,
make
Jill.
something. No, I love what I'm doing here. That wasn't what I meant as well. You know it. That's one of the reasons why I'm happy to work for JM, because the stones are beautiful, and it's a privilege to be able to handle so many precious stones each week. So.
I hear that a lot, actually, and that's such an interesting phrase, isn't it, for a lot of the guest designers to say they feel privileged to actually work with the gemstones. And I have to say that as the quality increases, it's almost just a privilege to have them in my hand. I mean, you're creating jewellery design, so it's a different, feeling for you, because you're creating with Mother Nature's offerings.
Yes.
But just to look at the quality of some of these gemstones is a privilege, because I get to see them every day.
I think so. I just think it has a different feel, it is just very different working with a genuine article rather than something that has been man-made. Yeah. Each stone is different, no matter how hard you try to match things like, I think, if you got fluorite on there, or things like that, it's just impossible to get every stone looking the same, because they are nature's creations.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Well, we're going to leave that one with you. We now have just a limited availability in stock, single figures in fact, and we're going to leave that there. Now, I have to warn you, it's about to get a little bit late show. We're going to have to up the pace. We've been offered so many new goodies to bring you, and we've only got just over an hour left on the show, so we're going to have to rattle through a few deals, I'm afraid, one of which isn't going to last very long anyway, because the price point that we're about to offer you for 65 carats of black spinel is so phenomenal that I can see this selling out live on the show. I love the actual shape because the cut is adding to the effect of the gemstone here with that sort of irregular wheel shape, if you like. They are faceted, so you get that classic luster that you'd associate with black spinel. These are almost sort of triangular shaped facets here, so again quite definitive, and they give you that reflective quality of the light being reflected. Spinel, interestingly, shares a crystal structure with diamonds, and so it has that classic isometric structure which gives it a single refractive index. Now of course on something like a diamond that gives you lots of sparkle. On something like a black spinel that has that jet black tone, it gives you this luster, this where the light is almost mirrored against the surface of the gemstone. And how many of these do we have in stock? We've got quite a healthy stock level, but we still might not have enough to go round based on the exclusive launch price we can offer you this morning. Now these wheels actually vary in size from 5x2mm up to 9x3, and the price point is not reflective of what you're receiving here. A gemstone used by some of the biggest designers in the world, and of course associations with luxury. Now often black spinel is actually mistaken for black diamonds, and the reason for that, well, it's twofold really. There's often misclassifications involving spinel and other prestigious gemstones. It happens for two reasons, I think. One of them is that they tend to form in the same region, so when we go mining for black diamonds you tend to find black spinel forming in similar regions, and not only that, but you actually get a greater refractive index, a greater luster from spinel than you do black diamonds, so you can understand why sometimes people have made that misclassification. Now I have to warn you, people who are shopping online can already see the exclusive price point, and they are flying in their numbers to get hold of this particular strand. If you want to get hold of this, start dialing the free phone number right now. Lots of people taking 2s, even 3s of this strand, and here comes your exciting launch price of just £6.95. As ever, we're not trying to devalue the gemstone in any way. That wouldn't make much sense, because of course we are part of the Genuine Gemstone Company, but we are trying to make genuine gemstones as accessible as possible. We are trying to give you the best value on the market, and once again, I'm pretty confident that's exactly what we've done. £6.95 for a gemstone that you will see being used on the high street by jewellers, but you'll also see it being used by some of the biggest designers on the planet, the likes of, you know, your Gucci's, your Chopards, all utilising spinel to great effect in their designs. It looks fantastic set into yellow gold, I always think, because you get that traditional finish to the design as well. And love the way this has been faceted. It's absolutely adding to the opulence and the elegance, the sophistication that spinel will add to your designs, and a very distinctive size and shape here. Gorgeous carat weight, 65 carats for £6.95. Just doesn't sound right, does it? Doesn't matter how many times I say it, it doesn't sound right. £6.95. And just look at the finish on this black spinel, absolutely fantastic. Multi-buyers all over the place here, that's the way to do it. Maximise on your 1 P&P per day by adding this to your order for just £2.95. Sorry, adding this to your order for £6.95, but you're only going to pay 1 P&P per day of just £2.95. 65 carats in total. It does come from our Gems of Distinction range, so it does represent the best quality we can source for you here at JewelleryMaker. I mean, if you were maybe working with gold-plated sterling silver and you took a couple of these, set them onto those as an earring design, you could actually use the graduation as your design itself, so you don't need to do a great deal of work. I mean, you could sell that pair of earrings for £15–20 based on the fact that you're working with, you know, precious metals, very, very high quality spinel and huge carat weights. Patricia's texted to say, I had my beautiful 2mm black spinel delivered yesterday. Now I have bigger ones to use them with. So Patricia's got on the phone lines. I wonder, I can see you, Patricia, in Suffolk. You're there. You've checked out. That's the way to do it. However, there's about 40 people with it placed in their basket who haven't checked out yet. Presumably, they want to miss out on this. If not, start checking out, because we still have a queue on the phone line, £6.95 for black spinel of this quality. And most of the people coming through on the phone lines, around about 60% of people, are actually multi-buying this strand. So as you can see, we are quickly working through our stock levels. We're going to have to leave that one with you. As I said, we've got a lot to fit in before we close our doors at 1 PM and open the doors to the Designer Inspiration Show. But we're going to provide everybody with a bit of inspiration now, aren't we? We're going to go straight over to Jill and have a look at our final kit of the morning. Is that right?
We are.
Wow, we are motoring through this show, huh? Love this colour combination. Love the gemstones, and I love this sort of peachy, pastel-y tone with the greens.
I think it's a lovely kit, and I'm assuming they're rough cut emeralds. I might be wrong, but
wow,
they're lovely.
It's
and they add a
interesting you
different
say that.
texture to things completely.
Yeah, is that just because of the sort of rough cut feel to them? Yeah. Actually, these are thought to be the rarest variety of garnet, Tsavorite garnet.
Good grief.
So another
okay.
one location gemstone. It is definitely an emerald green that you're getting from your Tsavorite garnet here. And Tsavorite garnet, once again, a one location gemstone. This time found in the Tsavo National Park, so named after its location from which it was discovered. Once again, very interesting gemstones, because again it was discovered in the late 60s, and it's discovered by a man called Camelard Bridges. He's a very determined gemstone hunter, if you like, somebody who actually sort of petitioned for years to be given the right to go and mine in this protected area in the national park. Eventually he did gain the necessary permits. He was sure that he was going to find this particular grossular garnet, and whenever you find these alternative colour tones, that's what it's known as. Once again, garnet is not really a gemstone family. It's not really a species of gemstones. It's more a type of gemstones, because you get a base chemical composition, but you get different elements that actually tend to influence what colour tone you get and what crystal structure you get from the gemstone itself. And so with Tsavorite garnet, it is chromium that makes it go green. So that's why you get these variations in grossular garnets. Of course, most people think of, I suppose, a red tone when they think about garnets.
I think so.
But it might be that introducing somebody to that sort of new information about garnets might actually lead to greater sales. So sometimes knowledge is power, I guess.
Well, I think as a colour family, garnets cover just about every colour.
Absolutely.
I'm desperately thinking whether there might be a blue one. I'm not sure about that. But so reds, yellows, oranges, greens.
I don't think there's a natural blue garnet.
No,
I don't think so.
So that's maybe the only colour tone that isn't covered within the garnet family.
Absolutely.
And it's a very versatile family of gemstones.
I love the combination here, because you've got that rough cut on the Tsavorite garnet, a very rare gemstone, and then you've got that almost perfect sheen from the pearls here. Gorgeous cultured pearls, and they are 6x4mm in size, so you've got that slight elongation, very delicate, but I love the variety of colour tones here. You've got the sort of pastel pinks, the amethyst purples, the classic whites, the chocolate browns, and then I love this because I always think of this gemstone as Mother Nature's attempt at a bit of craft work, because with sunstone you get that classic sort of glitter inside the gemstone. They're actually copper inclusions, and that's where, again, the gemstone actually takes its colour tone from, with this sort of ranges from a peachy tone to an apricot shade, I guess. Is that?
Yes,
agree with that?
I think so. And these are a matte surface rather than highly polished as well, and I think that adds to it as well. It works really nicely with the rough cut of the garnet in a way that maybe the highly polished ones wouldn't work so well. Absolutely. With this as a kit.
Yeah, so it's once again very coherent thanks to the 3 strands that have been put together here. But you also get your classic threading materials, your beading thread, your elastic and your monofilament. But that's not all. We've also added in some wire into this kit. So you've got 10 meters of your 0.4 copper wire. You've also got 10 meters of your 0.8 mil gauge wire in your antique bronze, and then you've got some of your twisted wire. This is 10 meters of your 1 mil antique bronze copper twisted wire as well. So fantastic way to make the gemstones go a little bit further, and of course add a little bit of your own personality. You're also getting your essential findings on this particular kit. You've got your antique bronze plated copper, 118 pieces in total. You can see everything you're going to get there, and a hugely impressive price point, probably the best value kit of the morning. If you were to buy all of these items individually any other time, it would be £44.60.
Okay. I still think that's a good buy.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Even the wires elsewhere might end up costing you that. But this morning we're going to take it down to Bargain Town. Should be £44.60 this morning. Add it all to your order for £21.95. You've just made a £20 saving. Saved £22.65p on these particular items. I mean, you've got cultured pearls, zavarite garnet, beautiful sunstone. You've also got this huge array of threading materials in terms of your twisted wire, your 0.4 mil and your 0.8 mil wires, with your sort of traditional threading materials, and then 118 pieces of antique bronze plated copper as well. So you just can't go wrong here. This is unbelievable value. And just have a look at the designs that you've come up with. Quite contemporary, but still got a sort of classic feel to them, I think.
Yeah, I think adding the wire allows you to go down a different route, and then I couldn't have made the talk bang piece without that, and just the garnet with the findings and the pearls, it makes a very elegant classic piece, but with a little bit of a twist because of the rough cut stones in it.
Absolutely, yeah. So you get that textured finish. Absolutely. So which of your designs are we going to be having a look at?
We're going to make the earrings.
These ones?
Those ones, yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Because in our findings kit, or this one, we have these very contemporary earring wires that are here. And you can just hang a stone or a collection of stones off the bottom hook easily, but I thought I might try something different, to use the top drill drops.
Okay.
Because they don't fit the bigger of the head pins through. They will fit the featherweights through, but the pearls are very small and they fit beautifully on the wire. So
brilliant.
I'm just going to take myself a length of wire, maybe a metre-ish long, somewhere like that,
okay.
And cut it off. And then I've taken my hoop finding, I'm going to turn it round, and literally just wound the wire on to fix it in place. So I did 3 loops, which has it secure, then took one of the pearls, and I colour sorted my pearls so that, because it just felt the right thing to do for me, and it's allowed me to make a pair of earrings. Each of those earrings has 5 stones on it, so there's lots of scope with the colour grading. So all I've done now is thread my pearl onto my wire and then I can carry on and I can wrap it round a bit further. And all I'm doing is controlling where that pearl goes with my fingers, so that it doesn't just slide all over the place. So I've gone around 3 times. And I think it's quite important to try and have consistency with the numbers of wraps that you make, and also to make sure you've squashed them up to each other so that you get a neat coil. So there's the second one going on through here. And again, it's just this gentle wrapping round, using my thumb to squish the wires up closer and feeding on the next pearl. You need to remember at the top of the finding that you have to leave space for your for the metal to go through your ear, so you don't want to carry on wrapping right the way up to the top. So I actually put 5 on, but that's not great viewing to carrying on. So there's 3 sitting on top, and in mine I actually carried it on to 5. And then I wanted to add a difference, so all I've done is then taken my wire backwards, underneath, over across my wraps, behind, across the wraps, across and that. So now I've got an additional layer on top of the wraps just for decoration.
Love the chocolate brown pearls and the antique bronze as well.
It works really well, doesn't it? And then I've popped my wire through the post, or through the loop, just to fix that into place. And then I wanted to add a little drop to the piece at the bottom. So I took my sunstone and threaded my wire through the top drill. When I can see it, that's better. Positioned it where I wanted it to be, and then bent the wires back round on itself so that it's hanging. Take this spare end off, you can see it's now hanging at the end of the finding, and then took that the wire back through the loop on the earring finding. And if the wire twists, just unkink it before it becomes a solid piece, otherwise you'll regret it. And then I just wrapped around back down to the gemstone. So all I'm doing is wrapping down to the gemstone to create a little copper finial, maybe. That's the best way of describing it. And you can take that down onto the stone and trap the top of the stone if you want to, just by carrying on over. If I just control that stone.
This might be quite a good introduction to wire work as well.
It's very simple.
It's just a twisting technique, really, isn't it?
And then I've just literally, to finish this off, rather than having the cut edge down on the stone, I've just lifted this wire, pulled it back up towards the ring, and then cut it off there, so it's neat and tidy. There's my cutters. I made a matching pair.
Fantastic.
So just a little way of using a finding in a different way, taking full advantage of the stones that were in the kit.
Absolutely.
And it really allows those very small pearls to become a feature piece rather than to get lost.
Absolutely. No, it's gorgeous, and I love the combination of colours as well. It looks really vintage. I absolutely love that. Great way to use those earring findings, and such incredible value on that kit. They've got people multi-buying, I suppose, just to replenish their stock, to get two of all the strands, lots of wire, all of those findings. Incredible. Should be £44.60, but this morning you can add all of this to your order for just £21.95. As I say, who knows how much pearls will cost in 12 months' time, so that is incredible value. We are going to leave that one with you. We are going to move over and see what you've been creating on the Wall of Fame. Welcome back to the Wall of Fame here on JewelleryMaker, your opportunity to have your designs presented live on air. And this one has come in from Amrit in Harrow. I used to live in Harrow, Amrit. There we go. Hello everybody, here is this week's entry, which is actually redesigning my very old long necklace of mishmash. I used to wear it in many different ways, but now needed a new look, so I folded it many times, put impression jasper and polyester loop chain to the end of it, and did the same with the earrings. I've already worn it many times as it's matching with many of my summery chiffon tops. There you go. And yes, this is coming from Amrit, so congratulations to you. You are number 61.
It's lovely, isn't it?
Absolutely gorgeous, yes.
This entry is a beautiful piece of Byzantine chainmail, and it comes from Jane in the Wirral. She said, "It's been a while since I've posted anything for the Wall of Fame. Here is one of my latest makes, inspired by the wonderful Debbie Bulford and her chainmail creations. This piece is a Byzantine weave in antique bronze with aquamarine rondelles and antique bronze clasp. Everything came from JM. Thanks for the great programme. Keep up the good work."
Amazing.
It's lovely.
I love chainmail. That's my weapon of choice. So I learnt that. And here we go. Look at this classic look. Very feminine, very boutique style here. This is number 63. It's been sent in by Irene Ann Simonet. Beautiful name. And yes, my Wall of Fame entry for this week is made of peach culture pearls, mother of pearl shell with a sterling silver chain. All items from JM. And I think that it's the best piece I've made so far. Well, I can see that. It's fantastic, isn't it?
It's lovely.
Beautiful. Well done. Yes, so that's from Irene, and you're number 63.
And I have a lovely item from Viv in London. Here is my entry for this week's Wall of Fame. I've used 1mm copper wire and 0.4 copper wire from JM, of course. I've weaved the wire and looped the ends over to form the ends. I hope you like it. Loving the designer inspirations. And I think it's beautiful, isn't it? Just being able to take simple wires and make it such a stunning item.
This is what makes the discipline so popular, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because of the intricacy of the work, and actually, same can be said for this, and I think it might be a star upside in the centre. Could be wrong, but I think that's what I'm looking at, yeah. This is coming from Louise Donnelly. It says, "Good morning all. Here is this week's Wall of Fame entry. I started out making a bracelet and it ended up becoming a pendant. Don't you just love it when that happens? Made using 0.8 wire, a black agate cabochon from my stash and black agate beads." I was just thinking, it almost looks like the kind of asterism you get on a starred upside, but it's absolutely fantastic. And yes, I think we all love a happy accident here on JewelleryMaker, so that's great. So you're number 62, good luck to you. Of course, all of the entries will be entered into the prize draw, even if you haven't seen your design on air, so make sure you keep on sending. And coming up after the break, a wire worker's dream. Huge blue agate slabs, ticking every box here. I think Dion had a choice of colours and she went for this one. And
Funny that, isn't it, Ed? Did it happen to be blue by any chance?
Yes, I know, yes. I love the variations though here. And yes, we're going to give you an opportunity to own this after the break. And we're only going to take a very short break, so we'll be back in 60 seconds. Get your phone in hand, ready to invest in this strand of agate.
Tune in to Designer Inspiration on Wednesday the 13th of August for our last ever Jewel Enamel show. All stock must go, so we'll be doing some crazy low prices. Make sure you don't miss it, because this time you really will miss out.
We've teamed up with Make and Sell Jewellery magazine to offer our customers an exclusive promotion. From the 4th to the 8th of August, we're giving you the chance to get a 6-month subscription to Make and Sell Jewellery magazine for just $19.99, saving a massive 33%. Simply go to the website or call 01795 414 964 and quote the discount code JMOffer. Terms and conditions apply. Please see the website for more details.
Welcome back to JewelleryMaker. As I said, we've got a lot to get through, so it's going to be fast and furious for the final hour of the morning show. I'm going to start with a premiere launch, 950 carats of gorgeous blue agate with quartz. And if you look into the centre of the gemstone, you can see the crystal structure inside of that quartz. It gives you that little bit of sparkle, that little bit of texture, if you like. But each and every gemstone has its own character, it has its own personality really here, just because of the variations of colour and the fact that the banding creates a unique finish on each and every gemstone. These are an absolute dream for most wire workers out there, because we've seen those sort of wrapped pendants. I mean, in all honesty, these are going to be the focal point for any design. They're very, very similar to a strand that I launched on the Late Show a few weeks ago that Mark Smith deemed to be the best star buy he'd seen this year. So that goes to show you the popularity of these kind of gemstones. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is that right? So 9 pendants on this particular strand. It could vary ever so slightly. You might find you get 8, you might find you get 10 because you're going to get larger carat weights then. These tend to be quite uniform, so I suspect you probably will get 9, but that means there's over 100 carats in each gemstone. Absolutely unbelievable. I'm being absolutely drawn to this one. Oh, actually, maybe I've changed my mind to that one now, actually. I love that. And I have to say, I've got a bit of a technique for these particular gemstones. Now, I recently got kicked out of Angela Edwards' workshop. That's the business workshop that Angela runs. She basically said, "Ed, do you think you could get out? We've got a lot to get through." Because I got so entrenched in it. Basically, Angela's giving me all kinds of ideas. She was saying, if you've got a little basket, you can actually cut these up and sell these as individual stones. Say sort of £3–4 a stone, pocket money kind of prices. People love to own individual gemstones. We've got to get the price on screen because we're already approaching half the stock being allocated, $11.95. I mean, you could pay that for one pendant elsewhere. To get 950 carats of any gemstone is totally ridiculous, but to get them for £11.95 is totally ridiculous. It really goes to highlight what we're trying to do here at JewelleryMaker in giving you the best value on the market. I mean, in all honesty, you could keep these so simple. Just a bit of cord. One of these as a pendant might do the trick. And even if you were creating, you know, multiple versions of the same design, you're still going to get a different finish when you're working with this strand, because of course each and every gemstone is so individual. Lots and lots of people flying through now to get hold of this. I imagine as well wire workers are just falling in love with these. But I'm just thinking, if you got hold of the bangle frames earlier on in the show, this could be a fantastic feature in the centre of a cuff. And I've just noticed that, of course, we've got a blue gemstone. We've gone down to £10 for 950 carats of blue agate here. And all of a sudden, the phone lines have gone absolutely ballistic. Don't panic if you've already got involved with this deal. Everyone is going to pay the same final low price this morning of just £10 now for 950 carats of blue agate with quartz. And yeah, I love the variations from the sort of sky blues to the sea blues. You've got those tropical tones. You've even got some which are ranging into almost navy tones. They've got such a rich saturation of colour. And of course, you've got these huge facets on the surface of the gemstone, so you do get that play of light, although I don't know how much of a feature you're going to make of that, just because the gemstones themselves are creating such a massive impact. 950 carats for $9.95. It's only available at that price for a limited time, because at this time tomorrow that's going to jump back up to $11.95, which in itself was already incredible value, but you can't go wrong at $9.95. Moving on, and we've got another deal this time. Great way to increase your stash of gemstones, because we've got a treble trouble deal. Of course, whenever we bundle together a certain gemstone strand, it allows us to create a wholesale deal and give you a discount price, and that's exactly what we're about to do with your aqua blue quartzite. These are absolutely gorgeous. They're almost like what you'd expect to see from top-end aquamarine, the consistency of colour, almost like a Santa Maria aquamarine if you like. And I can't think of any other gemstone that offers you this kind of colour saturation. It's absolutely gorgeous, very unique actually, because it's not a sky blue, but it's not a sort of tropical blue. Actually, I suppose aqua blue is probably the best possible description of this. These, again, your classic rounds, 10 mil in size, very easy to work with. Normally, you get 250 carats on a strand. We have trebled that, so you're going to get 750 carats, 3 individual strands, all 10 mil in size of the gemstones. We know how popular classic and perfect rounds are. 3 strand pack of the same gemstone for $8.95. This really allows you to be a little more generous, I suppose, with the gem carat weights that you're putting into your design. And this is a sort of ever present for most jewellery designers, because you need to have those gorgeous sort of subtle sky blue tones. 10 mil perfect rounds available right now for $8.95. Again, a huge influx of buyers coming through at JewelleryMaker.com. If you want to get hold of this, you need to be acting quickly. We only have a limited number available. Of course, we've effectively thirded our stock levels on this particular line by offering you treble the stock. But at $8.95 for all 3, that's pretty incredible, especially when I'm thinking if you did want to just use these, maybe even just create stretchies. I'd get 2, and I've got big man wrists, so you probably get 3 traditional stretchies. Say, even if you were selling them for £5 a pop, that means you're going to double your money off 1 strand. The rest, I mean, you could keep for yourself, I suppose, or you could just use it to create huge amounts of profit in many ways. So yeah, what we're talking about there then, say £45 from a £9 investment. So yeah, timesing your money by 5 effectively if you are able to sell your stretchy bracelets for just £5. And I absolutely love this. Is this the kind of colour tone that you would like to work with, Jill?
It is. It's a beautiful turquoisey, sea greeny. It's a stunning blue. It
would go great with the turquoise wire from earlier in the show, wouldn't it?
It would work really well because the 2 tones are the same. So yes, it would work brilliantly. And the threading pack that you've just picked up.
Thinking. It's all the sort of the glow that you seem to get from this quartzite is almost reminiscent of mixing these colours together on this beading thread. $8.95. If you did get involved with that deal, you can add 3 strands of gemstones to your order right now for just £9. We are going to move on. Right, sorry. Kept cutting out at the same point every time. Here we go. I love this gemstone, and it's this month's birthstone. We're looking at gorgeous peridot. Now, I always like to be honest here as a presenter on the show, and I used to be part of the management team. I have to say, I'm going to hold my hands up here. I actually think we under-delivered on sourcing this gemstone for the first couple of years. But I think we're making it up to you now, because the quality of the peridot that we have for you this morning is exceptional. Probably the best quality peridot I've ever seen here at JewelleryMaker, particularly when you see these beautiful facets on the surface of the gemstone. Very classic look, actually. And for me, peridot is the most appropriate of all the birthstones. I say this for a couple of reasons. Now, if you are shopping outside of the UK, this might not apply to you. But because I live in the UK and we probably get about 2 or 3 weeks of summer a year, and they always tend to fall in August, this is the colour tone I associate with the month of August. This gorgeous, rich, I used to always describe it as a lime green, but I think it's more like a freshly cut grass green. It's so vibrant, so rich. And so it's the kind of colour tone I actually associate with the month of August, whether it's, you know, the sort of lushness of everything that grows in the summer months, or maybe it's because, you know, just thinking of the imagery of kicking back on a beach, maybe pushing a wedge of lime into your bottle of beer, something like that. So this is a gemstone that literally transports me into summer. 45 carats in total, and again, a gemstone that potentially could offer you more fire than a diamond. And it's because it's the only other gemstone that actually forms in the mantle of the Earth's crust, just like a diamond. So if you think about the pressure and the intensity of the environment in which peridot forms, that's absolutely reflected in the colour tone that you get, isn't it? Such a fresh, vibrant green tone, and then enhanced by the facets on this particular cut. Top drill drops, everybody's favourite. Maybe you want to create those classic matching sets of jewellery, especially with a high-end gems of distinction offering. Or maybe you do want to do something a little more elaborate with them, because of course they make perfect petals or leaves, of course, in this green tone. If you want to get involved, you need to be dialing that free phone number right now, or clicking to buy now at JewelleryMaker.com. August birthstone, and here comes our exclusive launch price this morning. $17.95 is the intended launch price for this strand, but of course it's Friday and it's our job to give you a little bit of a treat. Now, this is an exclusive launch price, only available until 9 AM tomorrow morning. We're handing you back the equivalent of your P&P, so we're taking it down from $17.95 to $14.95. So even if you are caught in two minds and you're not quite sure whether this is correct for your designs, I would absolutely use my 30-day money-back guarantee. Get it home, see it in the flesh, and make an informed decision about whether you want to work with this month's birthstone. I think once you get it in your hands, you're not going to be going back. It's absolutely incredible. All of a sudden, a huge number of people have come to get involved for this deal at JewelleryMaker.com. Don't forget, if you are placing this in your basket, you need to check out, especially if you want to make use of that exclusive price reduction down from $17.95 to $14.95 this morning for 45 carats. So we're talking about 33p a carat here for top quality peridot. If you think about, you know, the likes of Bulgari, Boodles, they all use peridot, and it tends to be in their sort of trademark collections as well. So very high-end offerings where they're using these semi-precious gemstones. Gorgeous peridot there, available right now for $14.95. I mean, if you are working with gemstones that have been finished in this way, that offer you this kind of clarity, this kind of colour, and this kind of faceting, I think you've got to be working with, well, at least semi-precious metal, if not gold-plated sterling silver. I like the golds with the greens personally. It does look beautiful. We are going to move on though. As I say, a lot to fit in the final hour of the show. And we're going to move on now to a bit of a jump ring offer. I'm just talking about how much I love chainmail, so this is definitely appropriate for me. But of course, even if you're not somebody who's interested in chainmail, you're still going to need your jump rings, of course, because it's the classic way to complete your design with your clasp, for example. Fear makes you braver. That's what I've learned. My director just saying, oh, that's brave, holding the jump ring like that when you're so good with tweezers. Here you go. As I say, fear makes you braver. So normally you get 50, but we've doubled it up. So now you're going to get 100, is that correct? These are gold-plated sterling silver. As I was saying earlier, we are expecting to see the price of gold rising over the next 6 to 12 months based on the fact that we're not finding new deposits of this precious metal. We're thinking now that maybe the only available gold on the planet is possibly in sort of uncharted territory. So we're talking about having to excavate maybe the North Pole or the South Pole if we want to find new deposits of gold, even if they let us, which I doubt. I don't think it's going to be very economical excavating in sub-zero temperatures, so I imagine even if we were lucky enough to find a new deposit of gold, it would still probably be so expensive that it would drive the overall price of precious metals up. And of course, I mean, look at this. This is the kind of thing you can create with a chainmail bracelet, and it's with your chainmail designs. This is a necklace design, of course, but this is almost sort of soutache style framing for the cabochon using chainmail. But you don't have to go as elaborate as this. I actually created a chainmail bracelet for my grandmother for Christmas, and I used 44 jump rings. So you could actually create 2 bracelets working with this collection, because once again, another wholesale deal, 100 jump rings here. They're 7mm in size, and you've got gold plated sterling silver. Here comes your wholesale price for your gold plated jump rings, $14.95. That is incredible value when you think about the price of precious metals on the market. And of course, once again, can you imagine creating a very elaborate piece of chainmail work and running out of jump rings halfway through? So frustrating. Anytime you get the opportunity to stock up and get a wholesale deal, you need to be clicking to buy now or dialing that free phone number right now. $14.95 for 100 gold-plated sterling silver jump rings, 7mm in size, and they are open jump rings, just to be clear. And lots of people still coming through. Most people multi-buying that. I bet those are chainmail artists. So congratulations to everybody getting involved. $14.95. Now, earlier on in the show, we were very privileged to bring you a premiere strand of beryl. Huge top drilled drops. And we gave you an exclusive launch price. We lowered these from $39.95 down to $29.95. So feeling a little generous this morning, I believe. Now, if you did invest in this, start dialing right now, because I've got the perfect accent strand for you. I've got the rondelles of the multi-beryl as well. Have a look at this. Another family reunion. This time you've got a huge number of morganites here, as well as your aquamarines, and a couple of heliodors and goshynites dotted on the strand as well. Love this gemstone, morganite. One of my favourites, exclusively sold by Tiffany's, again, when it was first discovered. Hugely feminine, and of course we have a very special relationship with morganite here at the Genuine Gemstone Company, because we are in the presence of the largest cut morganite in the world. The owner of the company owns that. It's around about 900 carats. It's very, very impressive. And when you've got a sample that's that large, you can really appreciate just how uncompromising this gemstone is. Traditionally, you're either going to get great clarity from your morganite, or you're going to get a slightly more included gemstone, but as a result, you're actually going to get a deeper saturation of colour, because morganite tends to take its colour tone from the inclusions, and the inclusions that you find in the morganite are almost silk-like. So they're not sort of intrusive in your design, if you like. What? I've been focusing on the morganite just because, as I say, I'm a bit girly and I like my feminine gemstones. Just have a look at the variation in the colour tones you've got in your aquamarine. So much design scope. You've got icy hues, you've got gorgeous sky blues, ranging up actually into, again, maybe those sort of seafoam greens, if you like. So gorgeous combination of colour tones here. Almost a whole gemstone family on one strand. I don't think we've got any emeralds, but you can see that beryl's keeping good company. Morganite, aquamarine, emerald is the family. Here you got 40 carats of multicolored beryl, and can't Jenny Cleary start early? I don't want to be associated with this price point. $7.95 for gems of distinction beryl. Talking about morganite, aquamarine, heliodor, goshenite for less than £10. Just have a look at the actual gemstones themselves. So even if we weren't talking about a hugely prestigious gemstone, just have a look at the way it's actually been treated by the lapidarists. These gorgeous facets on the outer extremities of the gemstone. So that, again, gives you lots of opportunities for design, because it's going to pick up so much sparkle. I'll probably have a little bit of movement in my design actually, so that you get to benefit from the huge number of facets that have been placed on these quite delicate gemstones. They range in size from 4x1 to 6x3. I mean, let's have a look at this. So I'm just going to count the morganite. Sorry to be so obsessed with one gemstone on the strand, but It's my favourite gemstone. I don't see it very often, so, or one of, I suppose. So there's 6 morganites there, and then there's 6 larger morganites here. Oh, and then you've got another 6 here. So, yeah, so you've got 18 morganites in total. I would say 3 on a headpin, on a shepherd hook, twice over, morganite earrings, use sterling silver. Morganite earrings? What would Tiffany sell them for?
More than that?
Yes, I think so. So my earring design, I'm thinking I'm going to want £15 to £20, especially if I'm working with sterling silver and giving people morganite.
I think so. I mean, it is a precious stone. It's got a story behind it. So if you're trying to sell it, you know the background, you know how it was sourced, you know how it was named. They all make it even more special in my mind. So
using these gemstones, you could effectively double or even treble your money, depending on your venue, depending on your customers' understanding of the gemstone itself. Very, very sought after. Look, we started with a huge number of this particular strand. That's why we were able to give you such a competitive price. We've had so many people multi-buying the strand because of the value that we're actually now approaching limited availability. As you can see, we're approaching the final 50 in stock already. That has literally flown out the door, and have probably got roughly another 20 people that have got this placed in their basket. So if everybody was to check out, we would be left with kind of critical stock levels there on that particular item. That just goes to show you, when we offer you the best value we can, then our regular viewers are more than well aware of how quickly it's going to be flying out the door. £7.95 for 40 carats, and I have to say, we were talking earlier in the show about the fact that the quality of the gemstone seems to be increasing very, very frequently at the moment, not just, you know, from one year to the next, but from one delivery to the next. And this is very, very high quality beryl here. To bring it to you for just £7.95 is rather exciting, but a little bit silly, I suppose. You know how we work here at the Genuine Gemstone Company. That's why we can offer you the best value on the market. And we try to do that for, I suppose, the more accessible gemstones, such as the different varieties of beryl, but also some of the rarest gemstones on the planet, and that's exactly what I've got for you here. Now, this is from our collector's collection, what is it? Collector's Choice range. That's it, Collector's Choice range. Still comes from our Gems of Distinction range, but I think this is going to be one for the collectors. I don't know how many jewellery makers are going to want to basically give away their Panaparacha coloured sapphires. They're not actually Panaparacha sapphires, because if they were, I'd have to charge you 3 or 4 figure sums for this strand. But they're the same colour tones we'd normally associate with that particular variety of sapphire. Probably the most expensive variety of sapphires available on the market. But unfortunately, we've only got around 30 strands of this. Again, this is one where we really have been at Mother Nature's mercy. It doesn't create a huge amount of orange sapphire. And it's not a, you know, it's not a typical sort of tangerine tone. It does have that little variation in the hues that you see there. So you get those little sparkles of pink and red. That's what's making me see it as a sort of Panaparacha colour. 15 carats in total. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'd advise you to do your own research. Type it in right now, Panaparacha sapphire, and see the kind of price points people will pay to get that variety of sapphire into their collection. And I know that a lot of people do use the Gems of Distinction range to create a personal collection of gemstones. In fact, some people were saying that they had over 70 Gems of Distinction strands that they've never touched. And then somebody else texted in the other night to say they've got over 200 strands from our Gems of Distinction range, which they never ever touched. But then that got top trumped again. Somebody said they've got 400 strands from the Gems of Distinction range, and they have no intention of ever taking a tassel of any of the strands. It's their personal collection of gemstones. This is certainly one to add to your collection. Of course, we're looking at next month's birthstone. This is September's birthstone sapphire, but one of the rarest colour varieties available. That's presumably why I've got people multi-buying, because the value that we offer here at JewelleryMaker allows you to add one to your collection and get one to actually create a beautiful set of jewellery. If you are planning to sell your orange sapphire jewellery designs, please do some research into the market, because you've got to be pricing your jewellery appropriately. I'd hate for anybody to undervalue exactly what they've got here just because they've been offered a sort of wholesale price. Nobody needs to know that you're paying wholesale prices for some of the rarest gemstones in the world, and make sure that you do price it appropriately. Otherwise, people might not believe that they are genuine orange sapphires. In fact, that's another little trick I would suggest. If you are shopping online, which lots of people are, definitely click the box or whatever you have to do to get hold of your certificate of authenticity. In fact, if you're coming through on our free phone number right now and you're speaking to a member of our award-winning help team, they will also advise you as to how to get hold of your certificate of authenticity. You've got to get it when you're talking about one of the rarest varieties of sapphire. You are joking me. Less than £2 a carat for orange sapphire. I would absolutely concur with what my director's just said. He said, the reason, you know, we've classified it as orange sapphire because we don't want anybody to feel misled by calling it Padaparacha colour sapphire, but it's much closer to the colours that you see in a Padaparacha sapphire than it is to an orange sapphire, because you'd expect to see a sort of a tangerine tone. That's not what you're looking at here. These are almost sort of tutti frutti hues, if you like, because of that combination of the oranges, the reds, the pinks. Absolutely gorgeous, definitely reminiscent of that very elusive variety of sapphire, probably the most expensive and sought after variety on the market, the Padaparacha. But your way of integrating that colour tone into your collection, and of course, even if it wasn't this colour tone, you've still got one of the big four, next month's birthstone. So it's ticking every box really for jewellery makers, this particular strand, isn't it? We have allocated over half the stock now, and I can't promise that we'll ever be able to source this again for you because it is that rare. Hopefully we will, and we are very competitive, but you just never know. Gorgeous offering there, 15 carats of orange sapphire for £27.95. I'll leave that one with you. I think that'll be a sellout by the end of the day, personally. Okay, nice pithy name for these then. Here we go. This is I suppose quite a detailed finding, something that will add that attention to detail into your designs. And they are rose gold plated, 95 sterling silver, twisted S hooks, 22 by 10 mil in size, with jump rings, which are approximately 6 mil. Enough information in that title for you? These have actually never been seen before. They are a brand new finding to us here at JewelleryMaker, so it's another premiere launch. Quite exciting to launch a finding because we don't get to do that too often here on the show. And you can see the detailing, the effect that these are going to add to your designs, that sort of rope effect, which will provide texture and character, but also could provide you with a bit of a theme for your designs if you want to go down maybe the nautical route, which is very on trend at the moment. It's always on trend in the summer and spring months actually, isn't it? But here you've got the rose gold finish, so as ever, greater versatility than you'd normally associate, because of course your rose gold could have vintage connotations. It could be used in quite feminine designs. I use a lot of rose gold with my pink gemstones because it draws out the hue. Looks fantastic with classic gemstones such as your pearls as well, so you just can't go wrong working with rose gold. And I'll tell you the other thing, it mixes brilliantly with your copper and your antique bronze wire, which is so popular for wire workers. So once again, ticking every box and giving you versatility. These are your S hooks, never been seen before, and of course we're going to give you an exclusive launch price this morning. Rose gold plated sterling silver for £10. Wow, no wonder so many people once again were multi-buying, making the most of their 1p and p per day, but also making the most of the value that we can offer you on a brand new finding. Great way. Also, these could actually be used as a bit of a feature inside your designs. Maybe if you were planning to create asymmetrical designs, these could actually be the feature on a design, so they don't just have to be the mechanics of your jewellery, if you like. £10, and these are rather ridiculous value once again, because you're getting 4 grams of rose gold plated sterling silver here. Across 3, you don't just get 1, by the way. Just to be clear, you do get 3 of these findings, so you can make a real feature of these within your designs. £10 for rose gold plated sterling silver with your rope effect. Most people multi-buying that particular item, so we're moving on. Aha, now this is going to fly out the door. How many of these have you actually got in stock, sorry? Ooh, quite a healthy stock level. Sorry to disappear there, I dropped them. There's so many. Now, this is popular for a couple of different reasons. One, it gives you a very individual look to your designs, but also it's very, very easy to work with. Probably the easiest component that you can actually work with, it's your memory wire. And guest designer Mark often talks about how his memory wire designs are his most popular at a lot of the craft fairs he attends. And he usually sells his memory wire bracelets for around £15. So that's a good way to judge the kind of price points you can achieve at your craft fairs. Mark tends to work with the chips and nuggets in his bracelet designs, and what you've actually got here are the rose gold, the yellow gold and the silver, but you've got 2 of each. So 2 reels of your silver necklace wire, 2 reels of your yellow gold wire, 2 reels of your rose gold wire, and you've got the bracelet wire, the necklace wire and the ring wire as part of this particular bundle. Now this traditionally flies out the door. I think I had a kit last week when I was doing the morning show that had some memory wire in. It sold out before we even got to have a look at the designs, and I'm sure it was because of the popularity of the memory wire. And so you get 10 coils on the necklace design, so that gives you 60 necklace coils in total, 20 of each, and then you get 14 coils on the bracelet and the ring reels, and you of course get 2 of those, so you've got 28 reels of yellow gold, 28 rose gold, 28 silver on your rings and your bracelets. Look at this huge array of memory wire here, one of our most popular components, and I suppose it's because it's so easy to work with, particularly easy to work with for beginners, because of course you literally just have to thread your gemstones onto the memory wire. It holds its form, so a lot of the work is done for you. The structure of your design is already created, if you like. Huge number here, another wholesale deal on an essential finding. Wow, £12.95 for all of that. That's ridiculous. Actually, if you we looked at one of the designs earlier, and somebody created a huge array of memory wire rings. It's the one with the Lord of the Rings figurine that's on the ring. If you look in the background, there's a huge sort of plethora of memory ring designs. Of course, this is a great way to increase the number of pieces you have on your stall. If you are planning maybe craft fairs for the autumn or the winter periods, and you want to expand your suite of jewellery so that it looks really impressive. Oh, thanks, Chloe. Here we go, look, you can see one ring to rule them all, but have a look at this. You can see this beautiful collection of rings, and here Angela has actually only used 3 gemstones on each design, so that again is a very economical way to work because it makes your gemstones go a little bit further. And you can see that's quite an innovative use, because what do you need to do? Just cut 3 loops and then thread the gemstones onto the center loop of the ring, and then they're actually sort of suspended by the other 2 reels of memory wire. So that works perfectly, doesn't it? To get this huge array of memory wire for just $12.95 is massively impressive. I've got, again, a lot of multi-buys getting involved with this particular deal, but we can't afford to dilly-dally on this. We've got lots and lots to fit in before the end of the show, which is coming up in just 20 minutes. Not long to go, and I'm going to give you another wholesale deal now, a double trouble deal. Ooh. Once again, we're looking at a very popular mineral at this time of year, a very summery gemstone, and a very difficult gemstone for us to source. Explained earlier that we'll only ever get hold of ethically sourced coral, but that isn't as easy as it sounds, of course, because, you know, natural coral reef is almost, you know, Mother Nature's defense mechanism. It's how she protects the shorelines from being damaged and eroded by the waves in the sea. And so basically you have to wait for the coral to wash up on the shore before we can utilize it as a mineral for jewelry design. And this is a gorgeous color tone, isn't it? Very feminine, but still has a sort of summery hue to it because you've got those slight variations. So you've got quite a peachy tone, but then depending on what you set this with, you could draw the more tangerine style colours out of the gemstones. 6mm rounds, once again, very, very versatile, perfect for use in a number of different disciplines of jewellery making. In fact, this is one of the ones where you could just set those quite simply onto some memory wire, I suppose, just 3 gemstones, and you've got a beautiful ring design for your holly bulbs, if you like. Now, if you do want to get involved with this deal, you need to be dialing the free phone number. It's another double trouble deal, another opportunity to increase your gemstone stash and take advantage of the value we can offer you here. We have got a bit of a queue on the phone lines. I said we had a lot to fit into the final hour, and as I say, don't panic. It's a free phone number, so you will be answered in the order in which you dial. Nothing to worry about, except for the fact that if you're not dialing early, you could miss out on some of these deals because the value is incredible. $7.95, less than £4 per strand here on gorgeous coral. And as I say, if you are trying to source coral elsewhere, be very, very careful, because there are a lot of sort of illegitimate suppliers who are actually offering you dyed gemstone, and they're not really genuine coral. So if you want to work with the real deal, you need to be shopping from us here at JewelleryMaker. We lab test each and every gemstone to ensure it is exactly what we say it is. Oh, just have a look at the finish on those. Now that you can see it a little closer, I was just thinking, stock up for October. They look like little pumpkins. It's just because of that subtle banding. It actually moves vertically down the gemstone, so you can actually see that they almost look like little mini pumpkins. Oh yeah, we can see it. Gorgeous. And lots of people starting to come through now on the free phone number, so thank you very much for waiting in that very short queue. I think it was about 60 seconds, so nothing to worry about. And now all the phone bars that are coming through are taking 2 of this. So it's a good job you waited. If you have placed it in your basket, don't forget, whenever we're creating a double trouble deal, we're actually halving our stock levels. So we only ever have a limited number of our double deals. So if you want to get involved with this, please make sure that you are checking your basket out. $7.95, what I would describe as the best value on the market for this particular item. We are going to move on. We've got another premiere launch to bring you, this time a very popular gemstone with jewellery makers. And we were talking earlier, we were touching on the sort of folklore and legend attached to this, or, you know, different beliefs that people hold within their understanding of gemstones. Chalcedony thought to stimulate creativity. So it's a perfect gemstone to invest in if you're a jewellery maker, isn't it? And also, we don't see this colour tone very often. This is your natural chalcedony. So of course, most of the very popular gemstones here at JewelleryMaker are in fact varieties of chalcedony. If you think of agate and onyx. These are all members of the chalcedony family. Chalcedony, one of the earliest materials ever used by man, and it has this sort of waxy, translucent luster to it, so it gives you quite a unique finish. And here it's actually affecting the colour tone. So from one angle I'm seeing a sort of lavender blue, from the other I'm seeing almost a sort of storm cloud grey, from the other I've got a silver, from another angle I've got a violet. So again, I think it depends what you're going to match this up to as to the kind of effect it's going to create. Sort of thinking about this as a combination, because we've got these pearls coming up as well. I mean, I think that looks rather gorgeous. Do you like that one, Jill?
I do like that combination. The chalcedony is a really neutral tone, isn't it? And
yes.
the shape is also different, so it works beautifully with those pearls.
I absolutely agree. Really complementary together. And you're right about the finish on the chalcedony. It sort of influences the designs, doesn't it? You've got a faceted finish on these particular chalcedonies. They are your wheel shapes, and the range in size from 9x2 to 13x4. This is coming from our Gems of Distinction range, so as ever, it represents the best possible value we can source for you. Oh, you being serious? Absolutely ridiculous this morning. Another exclusive launch price of under £10 for a genuine gemstone. You've got 65 carats of natural chalcedony here, and you've got it all for £7.95. Just doesn't add up, does it? Actually, you could use these in the macrame designs, and when Mark was last on the Late Show with me, he was saying that rather than setting them proud, you could set them flat, and of course then you need fewer gemstones because they cover a wider surface area, so those would look fantastic. Or, great idea, if you are maybe upcycling certain items of clothing, you could almost use them as gemstone buttons.
Yeah, I think you could.
Nice idea.
Yeah, use a head pin, make a loop with it, and use the loop to sew on it to make the button.
Yeah,
so
that'll work
very
perfectly.
well.
Fantastic. Again, we've got people coming through multi-buying this on the free phone number, so if you have placed it in your basket, as ever, my advice, check out to avoid disappointment. Premiere launch at £7.95, so I can't guarantee it will stay at that price point. It might be that on our website, if you try to add that to your order tomorrow morning at 9 AM, that you have to pay a higher price point. Say again, sorry? Oh, okay, right, so I'm being told to give everybody a pre-warning about the stock levels we have here. We've got exactly 55 strands. The reason we say that, we know how popular they're going to be. Turquoise coloured pearls. And there is a very slight variation in the size. They're almost a little elongated. They're 6x5mm, but from a distance they almost look like perfect rounds. And again, if you are working with these slightly irregular cultured pearls, it shows your customers that A, you're working with the real deal, but also it adds that organic finish to the design, which a lot of people are looking for when they're investing in bespoke piece of jewellery, particularly pearl jewellery, because of course it has those very strong associations with bridal wear, I suppose, because of its connections with sophistication and innocence and grace. But there is a little bit of folklore attached to pearls, which is why it's so strongly associated with weddings. It's thought that if the bride wears a pearl, that it will prevent her from crying on the big day.
I'm not sure that works.
It definitely doesn't work. My sister was wearing pearls and she was bawling her eyes out. But it's a, you know, it's got kind of romantic association, because it does give it that strong association with weddings. Actually, this would be perfect for Mother of the Bride, because this is a popular Mother of the Bride colour. Wow, was not expecting that. Maybe £16.95, £6.95. I should just let any of the new buyers into the information that we have been sharing with our customers, which is we've been working with the same pearl supplier for around about 10 years here at the Genuine Gemstone Company. Recently, our buying team went over to visit them, and they were a little bit unhappy because there have been new sanctions placed on the cultured pearl industry. In fact, since they've put these onto the industry, we've seen a 40% decrease in the overall production of pearls. makes it more difficult to get hold of them. And of course, because of the sanction, because of the new way in which the people cultivating pearls are having to work, we are expecting to see an overall industry increase in the price of pearls, but that seems to have gone out the window this morning. $6.95 for gorgeous turquoise pearls. That's going to be a sellout deal, so we're going to move on to, here we go. Now this is so funny because I was talking to somebody on Facebook a couple of weeks ago, and they were showing off basically that they had now a more comprehensive workshop than their husband and more tools than their husband, who is in fact a chippy. So, and this morning on the Wall of Fame somebody made the same boast, didn't they? That they now had more tools than their hubby. And I think, well, tools are cool for a couple of reasons. One, they make you feel like more of a professional if you're working with the tools, if you've got a huge array of tools. But also I think they help to provide you with confidence. If you know you're working with the right tools, then you can be confident of the finish that you're going to be able to achieve. Do you agree with that?
I think having professional tools makes your life far easier. I wouldn't advise just nicking your husband's from his tool cupboard. Their weights are wrong on them, they're too big for your hands, I think often, and the JewelleryMaker tools are designed for the purpose of jewellery making, and in my mind you're best using a tool designed for the job.
Absolutely, yes. And here we've got pretty much all of the most essential pliers that you'll need for jewellery making. You've got your grip, your comfort grip, flat nose pliers there, so these have all got that comfy grip, so tends to be a bit more comfortable to use, and therefore, you know, you're not going to be wanting to stop jewellery making after 10 minutes because you're in pain, and you're not going to have calloused fingers. Just going to make the whole process a little easier. So you've got your flat nose pliers, you've got your nylon pliers, so that's great for wire work because it won't damage the surface.
It's absolutely invaluable for wire work,
really?
Especially if you're using any of the coated wires, because it's much kinder on the wires and the coatings.
Okay, great. So there you go, perfect for wire workers. You've also got your chain nose pliers and your round nose pliers. Again, it's a good job I was here. My big hands can hold everything at once. So there you go, everything you're going to need, and of course a fantastic price, under £10 for all 4 pairs. Jill's got her head in her hands at that price. Have you had to buy tools from other suppliers in the past, Jill? Is that why you're upset?
Well, I'm not upset because I know the value of the tools from here. Unfortunately, I haven't, because I've always bought from JM.
Oh, right, okay,
but if you go around an average bead show, you're paying that for one tool, let alone 4.
Yeah, and they're showing off about it.
Yes.
The fact that they're not $14.99, they're like, yeah, we've taken them under £10 for the show, and you're like, yeah, better than £2.50 per pair here. I mean, this actually gives you the option of maybe investing in an alternate set of tools, maybe the ones that you take to your craft fairs or for travel.
Well, I shall be buying those as soon as I get home, if there are any left in stock, because if you look at them, the precision of the ends of all of those is much finer than the standard and the deluxe jewellery making kit. So I would be adding those to my rather large tool bag.
Actually, I can see that, yes, there is a much finer point to all of these pliers, isn't there? Yeah, so that's incredible value to get all of those for the same price as you normally pay for our traditional kit. We're going to move on though, and box 6. We're going to give you another wholesale deal on your findings here, and you've got your rose gold plated copper. We talked quite a lot about rose gold. It's probably my preferred metal when I'm jewellery making, so I'm quite happy about that. And of course it's because of its versatility. Here you've got your flat head pins and your eye pins combination, so we've actually bundled these together, so once again we can provide you with a wholesale deal. You get 100 of your rose gold plated copper head pins, and you get 100 of your rose gold plated copper eye pins here. Of course, 2 essential findings, 2 of the most essential findings, I suppose. These really are the mechanics of your jewellery designs, aren't they? So 100 of each, a wholesale deal, and a wholesale price. This is the way to stock up on your head pins and eye pins for just $7.95. If you've already got an order up and running today, then you've got absolutely nothing to worry about. 1 P&P per day here at JewelleryMaker. You can add as many items to your order as you wish, and you're only ever going to pay $2.95. So when we're bringing you essential items like head pins and eye pins, particularly in the rose gold finish, for just $7.95, for me, it's a no-brainer. You've got to be adding these to your order, and lots of people are. And once again, most people taking 2 of these just to make the most of the wholesale deal. Now, we have created another queue on the phone line, probably because we've launched so many items in such a short period of time. But don't worry. So it's around about 90-second wait on the phone line at the moment. And you will, unfortunately, be joining the back of the queue. But don't panic, because we've got a lot of this to go round. We think we've got enough to go round anyway. Can't say for sure. But don't panic. Wait to speak to a member of our award-winning help team, and if there's any left in stock, they'll add these to your order. And if there are any left in stock, I would take 2. 100 head pins, 100 eye pins, all for $7.95. Absolutely incredible. Are we going to have to leave that one there? That's what I thought. Okay, brilliant, because at the start of the show, we set Jill a bit of a challenge. Oh, and it's already over there. Look at that. Oh, where am I going? Wait to be told, Edward. Just told myself off. Yeah, so we set Jill a bit of a challenge. Well, you kind of selected it just before the show, is that right?
Yeah, Dion gave me the chance to choose what I wanted, so I did.
And you worked with this, well, for its sophistication, its versatility, some of the things we were talking about at the start of the show. And the different finishes on the pearls, something that intrigued you as well, wasn't it?
It is. I think the pale pinky ones are a very different finish to the rest of them, and I also love the smaller mink.
Yeah, they're gorgeous.
Pearls.
They're something different, aren't they?
And I agree with you. Mink is a far better colour for it than the colour that they were chosen.
Good work, Jill.
Yeah.
Always agree with my colour reclassifications. Wow, that's all I can say about the suite of jewellery you've created. You've been busy, haven't you?
I have been busy.
I've been bothering you every 5 seconds, and yet you've still managed to create this huge suite of jewellery. I mean, these are just classic pearl earrings, really, aren't they?
They are, yeah. Just using a little bit of wire to add the twist to them. Yeah,
they're fantastic. I love this. And I think that all of your designs show, you know, a level of intricacy, but they also let the shell pearl do the talking, if you like.
I think if you're using genuine gemstones, you want to celebrate them, not hide them.
Absolutely.
So I think that's important. I've also made one I call a bubble necklace. So for anyone who got the head pin stash as the early bird, then that's a way of using them. It allows you to use the whole of the finding, because the rest of the stem becomes part of the design.
And you've actually used the little star head pins as well, so those become little features in the
used
design.
A mixture of what was in underneath the counter for us to use.
Fantastic.
So they don't all have to be the same.
It's amazing, because when you said bubble bracelet or bubble necklace, I knew instantly what you meant. And now I see it, you've absolutely realised the vision, because I was thinking, is that exactly what I meant? But now I know I was. Sue's texting to say, what a yummy set of jewellery, Jill. They look so high-end. Have to agree with that. They are sort of like boutique-style designs.
Thank you.
And yeah, if you were maybe looking into a boutique window and you're looking at these designs, how many have we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're talking at what? Well, less than that, £3.50 per piece of jewellery. You wouldn't be paying £3.50 in any of the boutiques that I know of. Absolutely gorgeous designs, Jill. And thank you so much for this morning.
You're welcome.
Your designs have been brilliant, your insights have been amazing. And yeah, you're my hero, because you saved me on Saturday still, so I can't get over that. Coming up, just after us, Jenny Cleary is doing the Design Inspiration show. With Frankie, of course. Yes, Frankie's over in the other side of the studio. That's why. What? Ugly Ugg board. You're all saying it at the same time. I can't hear you. Stay tuned. Next for Designer Inspiration. And I'll be back tomorrow evening with the ugly bug board.
Ugly bug ball.
Ball. Oh, it's a silly accent. Cleary, if you pipe down, I can understand everyone else. Okay, ugly bug ball. I got there in the end. Okay, I'll be back tomorrow on The Late Show. Stay tuned now for Designer Inspiration, of course, and The Late Show, giving you all the bargains at 5 p.m. Thanks to Jill. Thanks to all the team for putting together the show. Stay tuned right now for some inspiration. Thank you.
JewelleryMaker have an extensive range of DVDs for all abilities. Each of our mediums has an introductory DVD to help you get started. If you're already an experienced jewellery maker, we have a collection of projects and more advanced DVDs to take your designs